Okay. I must have hit a wrong button before because I disabled my HD. I didn't want to use up my bandwidth. I don't care about. There we go. Okay. Let's see if they have. So now. What the hell? Okay. How do I get to the. How do this? See, this is wrong. Oh. I already started this. What? No. Okay. What? What the? Okay. Oh, try this. Okay. Nobody getting the memo, I guess.
Howdy. Howdy.
Oh, hey, Jen.
Yeah, that bit of a performance you gave earlier on was pretty good, man.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
The previous performance you gave with your singing was pretty good.
Oh, thank you. You heard that?
Yeah. I thought that was quite decent. Rock and roll music. It was pretty good, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I get a lot of stress out in that fashion.
You did well, mate. You did well. I mean, the beginning was a little bit ropey at the start, but you found your flow and you know, it went well. I thought, anyway.
Yeah,
Where's everybody else?
You knew that was pre-recorded, right?
Oh no, I didn't. I thought that was live straight off. I didn't know it was pre-recorded whatsoever. No, I thought you was.
Yeah.
Well, I thought. What did I think? Yeah, I thought you was doing that live.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. No, that was recorded.
What I thought was you were singing live, and then you had the music pre-recorded, but you were singing live. Is what I thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was kind of singing on time, but not. Yeah.
That's it. That's what I thought. Yeah.
I see. Okay. I got you, man. So, what music did you recognize any of those songs or?
Not really, no.
And how old are you again? I'm sorry, Jen.
I am now 57.
57. Okay, so yeah, you would.
So I probably would be of age to recognise some of the tracks. But then, what kind of music is Jen into?
Well, I bet you. Let me see. I bet you know this one.
Well, I'm into jazz, funk, soul, reggae, rock and roll music. You know, songs of swing, Smith Daniel Band. You know, I'm into all the music.
Do you recognize this one?
If I searched this whole wide world, I never find me a girl who love me the way that you do. 'Cause ding dong.
That's quite an oldie. That is. That would be something I would never. Being born in London, so no, I don't know that track.
Oh, you don't know Shamalama Ding Dong?
Well, probably know it in a different, not the original. Shamalama Lama Lama Ding Dong. I've heard it in a rock and roll style.
Shamalama, Shamalama Lama Ding Dong.
Yeah, no. Bearing in mind, I was born in London. Yeah, London, not America.
Still, American.
No, I haven't heard that one.
That would be a first time for me.
But I have heard Shamalama Ding Dong in another track, a different version.
No, okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely not music ignorant, but I haven't heard all the tracks that were produced in America during I was born in 61.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be listening to Desmond Dekker, the Beatles, Mary Hopkins, and the Beach Boys and that kind of stuff.
So were you aware of like you know now like how Tavistock had influenced those bands, correct?
Yeah, Tavistock. I thought I know about Woodstock.
What did you think? What did you think when you heard that? Like I was devastated, man. Like when I heard about like Jim Morrison's dad and you know, like I was for sure thinking that the music I was listening to was had a genuine feel to it at least. Now I just don't know what to think, you know.
Hey.
Hey, you found me.
Yeah.
Otis Redding.
Otis Redding, yeah.
Shama-lama-lama ding dong.
Yeah, Otis Redding, that I know, Top of the Bay, singing on the
and
Top
the
of the Bay
Knights.
was the one I know.
The Knights.
At that time.
Right.
He was with the Knights at that time, wasn't he?
That's right.
Yeah.
Spot on, Poe.
You see, I don't remember that particular track, but Otis Redding, the main one that I remember from the 60s was Sitting at the Dock of the Bay. That's the one that I remember from Otis Redding.
Yeah, he was on his own then, wasn't
he? Yeah, that's right. That's the first track, you see, that I kind of like heard.
Jim,
yeah.
Jim, what about Trump getting exonerated, mate?
Who?
Trump. Our
What's
boy.
he getting exonerated from?
From the collusion. Delusion.
All that Russian bullshit that they were trying
to
do.
Yeah, well, I knew he wasn't part of that. I mean, I knew he wasn't part of that. That's good.
2-year, £40 million investigation that he was supposed to be. Well, smashed them again, hasn't he? Or just wait.
Money, that was part of the game.
Do you know Trump? Do you know something? I'll give you some prediction now. Right, in the next 6 months, you're going to see a lot of fucking people jailed. He won't forget. Note that guy.
6 months, Poe. You sure you want to stick?
6 months. There'll be indictments in the next 6 months, and the board will be shut next week, Thursday.
You know, I'm not too sure about this one, Poe.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a fucking free reign now. He'll do what he wants now.
All right, fuck it.
No, that's all.
6 months. You got it. All right.
6 months indictments.
Supporting him then.
Right. Now, Pove, right? You do realise that all this is theatre.
Yeah, he knows that.
No theatre.
Blimey.
No theatre because it's all one way. That's where the problem is. That's why you can't view it as theatre when it's all one way. It's theatre when it's ding
all
dong.
theatre.
Yeah. You got to be
I love this
kidding me.
geezer. He just doesn't get it, does he? It's theatre, man. Okay? That's why I don't get excited about Trump. Of course, he wasn't involved in Russia. Of course, he wasn't involved with Russia. That's all just theatre.
It wouldn't matter anyway if he was, because there's no such crime as collusion anyway.
Yeah, that's a made-up fucking bullshit, right?
He can't even be tried for collusion, whether he was colluding with him. There's no such crime. None of it made sense.
Yeah, that's right. Of course not. Why would he do that?
Didn't you love too, Pove, how like all of the news outlets were all saying the same shit, right? Like
they're all against it, every one of them.
He's going to
even
jail.
Fox. Even Fox can be against it. You know, but Fox has stuck by him a bit with Hannity and Carlson and Tucker. I mean, he's lucky he's got them people in place because he's took the fucking every part of it on. With all the media against him and everything, and he's beat.
Yeah, but that's all. You still don't get it, do you? That's all part of the theatre. He was never going to be in trouble. His life was never in danger. He was never going to get indicted. It's just theatre. Selling newspapers, keeping us confused. Come on, man.
He could have been indicted. There was a lot of people saying,
So, Jen, why is the media so hateful towards him if it's all just show? Like, what's the point?
And they are hateful.
It's part of it's the show they put on for us, keeping us thinking that we're living in a real world. No. Come on, Gerard, you're surprising me. Gerard, you know that.
You know Trump believes in an eye for an eye, don't you? He'll not let anything go, Trump. He'll get them all back.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if you want to live in the matrix, so to speak.
Right.
That's you have to reside in that area. You have to take that as serious, you know. So it's a tough road to hoe when dealing with the normies out there.
Right on. I'm with you.
Trying to get by and trying to do, you know, what they think is right. And voting for somebody is what they think is right. I can't change that shit, man. As much as I want to.
Look at all the tariffs that he's put on now, the billions that are pouring back in that's going to recover the infrastructure and everything.
But I am curious though, because Jen, you say that it's all theater,
yes,
right?
That's right.
But when I see, and here's where I kind of disagree with you, because I see the news people and that is real spite. That is real
bitterness,
hatred. Yeah. Like, it's just my opinion, but it seems to me that if that's theater, they're freaking pretty good. And I don't think
he's smashing up the new world order
for a long time. They've been pretty good for ages. Come on.
Yeah, but still, Jen, they're showing an awful lot of hatred. Like, you can see it in their face.
Look, this is all part. I don't know how you're missing it. people, you're missing that ball again. Please keep an eye on the ball and the bigger picture. Please.
What's the bigger picture, Jim?
Oh, so you want me now to say what the bigger picture is, yeah, Pove?
Well, when you say keep your eye on the bigger picture, what do you mean? What's the agenda then?
Well, the agenda.
Do you not think there's enough? Do you not think there's enough balance with the New World Order and the way Trump's moving things?
Well, that's the agenda, isn't it? You mentioned it in one. You know, the New World
Order.
Well,
look at Brexit. Well, look at Brexit. We should be out of Europe now. How many more fucking chances is she having?
That's another theatre smoke screen for the British side. Come on, Paul.
Well, it can't be. I mean, Farage has caused all this trouble. One man representing us in Europe's caused all this trouble. If it won't, I mean, I'm pretty sure they wish Farage wasn't born. The shit he's caused and the cost that it's going to be for solving all this.
Yeah, I agree with you,
If it wasn't for him. Yeah. I mean, but why can't we trade with all over the world? Why have we got to be in this club?
Exactly. Now you're talking. That's the question to ask.
Yeah, but that is the New World Order. That's what Obama was going to do with America. Bring them in line with Europe. That's what it was going to be. One world, one fucking army. Right. That's the New World Order. That's why Trump smashed it all up and said, no, we're staying as we are, independent from the world, and we'll trade with the world and we'll tariff every fucker who thinks they play games with us.
Yeah, bearing in mind, Trump is following a script that he's been given. He ain't his own man.
If
you think Trump is his own man, well, I do.
But you look at all these people around him. All these people around him.
Yeah, they're all controlling. They're all control mechanisms. Both. You've got to get into it a bit more, man. Come on. Got to get into it a bit more.
I'm pretty clued up with politics.
I've got nothing invested I've got nothing invested in the US, except for hopefully one day the citizens will have a revolution. Then I'll join them.
There won't be no revolution.
Okay, sake, man. There's nothing there for me.
If I may,
there would have been a revolution.
Please, you do. Please, Jared. Go ahead.
I can't hear you now, Jared. I'll go out and come back in.
Poop. Can you ask Jen? Can you ask Pove to see if he could drop off and come back on?
Okay. Well, he has done. He has done as we spoke.
Drop
off. He's going to come back on. I do believe. Yeah.
No, I agree wholeheartedly, Jen, that a lot of this stuff is scripted out, and the president's already been, whatever. I know all those things.
Yeah.
But there is some discrepancies between what a person who is supposed to be holding the highest power in the world should be reacting and the way that Trump is reacting. Now, wouldn't you say that there is there's definitely some difference there when it comes to how he's portraying himself?
Well,
he's doing what he wants.
You know why I'm very skeptical and that? Because Kennedy tried to do that and pow, he was gone.
Yeah.
Right? So he can't be his own man. That tells us.
Yeah, they took Kennedy out.
Whoever gets that position of being the president there will never, ever be in control of, he won't be.
Yeah, but you look at what Trump's done, though, Jim. Look at what Trump did. He's got his own security.
He's not using state security. It's not him.
No.
That's not Trump.
No.
Trump is not the initiator of all that.
He's had his own security all his life.
Jen, actually, he is in charge of his own security.
Doing all his own security. They've been with him for years. These people are with him now. He doesn't use anyone from Secret Service. Well, they'll be periphery security, but not immediate.
But that's not saying, though, Pope, that he can be compromised, and maybe
he can be took out. Anybody can, can't they?
Yeah. So
I look how Trump talks and how he behaves and how calm he is and how he deals with things to all the other politicians. He deals with things differently.
We're in a different time. Things are different times, different solutions. But what I'm trying to say to you, Pope, is that it is not Trump's initiative. It's not his brain that's working. I'm telling you.
Of course it is. Every bit of it is.
No way.
Every bit of it is. Well, if he's penning, don't forget, he's penning all these things that he wants to get done. He's got his list of all these things, and he's going through them for the people.
Let me give you an example, Pope. Let me give you an example. When 12 years ago or so, 2008, when Obama got in on his campaign trail. He sounded good. I never believed a single word he said.
Obama was an asshole.
Hang on a second. I want to tell you something. I made a prediction that this is what I said. Now, Obama's going to inherit the mess that's happening now. He's not going to be able to be effective for his 4-year or 8-year term. The next person that comes in is going to be the one that's going to tidy up. It's all been stripped. It's been, what's the word?
Tidy what up? Have you seen the mess he left, Obama?
It's all done scripted. That's why it's now Trump is in. It's just a face. That's all he is. It's all been scripted.
Obama sold out.
Over nothing, man.
Well, the evidence is there. Everything Obama put his name to.
Let me tell you something. Everything. Trump is another puppet after another puppet after another puppet after another puppet. Man.
Okay, well, if you look at what his achievements are, look at what his
achievements are preordained by the powers that be. That's what you're.
So you're looking now at the lowest black unemployment in America ever. Right, hang on a minute. Why didn't Jim, give a minute, have a breath. Why didn't they do that for a black president, Obama? Wouldn't that look far better?
Okay, I'll tell you and I'll tell you again for the 100th time. It's pre-scripted. We are living in a matrix.
I don't know where you get pre-scripted from. Okay, go look at all this time now. Go back in history then.
Hold on, guys.
I'm quite good.
I can't help you.
My family were there in 1777. My family were there. I know all about the history of America.
Well, if you know about the history, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you can't see it, fair enough.
What I'm saying is things are different now. They're not like it's been.
I know that, but they're not. There's nothing different here. There's nothing real.
Okay, look how long it's been going on.
Hang on. You are speaking as if Trump is going to be the big white hope, the big change. He's going to be a big doo-doo.
Well, he seems to be now, doesn't he? Well, he seems to be now, doesn't he? Well, look at the records he's smashed. Look at all the things he's done. Okay. So all these things he's done, you're not reckoning. Okay, Jim, let me ask you something then. All these things that he's done, all these records that he's breaking, smashing out the park, lowest immigration, lowest fucking migrant workers, lowest unemployed, blacks unemployed.
It's all theatre, my man.
Just let me finish. Let me finish a minute. Why wasn't that done 8 years ago? Why wasn't that done 10 years ago? Why wasn't the wall up 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
Like I keep saying to you, we are in.
But why now? But why now? That's what I'm asking.
Don't ask me. Go ask the power that be.
Oh, that's easy to just say. Oh, it's the timing. Oh, it's the timing.
I've got to read it. Well, I'm reading between the lines.
Okay.
But what lines are you reading between? There's never been any. I don't know what lines you're reading between. There's never been anything like this.
Can you guys hear me?
There's never been records smashed like this ever before. Yeah. Where's the lines you're reading between?
Hello.
Whilst I respect what you're saying, both, and I respect what Trump has done, the records he's breaking. What I'm trying to say to you, it's been preordained. It is not Trump that's doing this.
I know, and what I'm asking is where you're getting that information from, because if it's never been done before, how come Almighty Jin knows at this time?
History.
When?
I think he's wanting to know like a specific.
What I'm saying is all these records now that are getting smashed. How's Jin worked out that it's now time for Trump to do it? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, you know why? Because that's the way that this matrix works.
See,
dangle the carrot.
This is the problem with people. This is the problem with people who don't recognize what people achieve. They'll never recognize it because they look.
That wasn't preordained for him.
You'll always find bad in what's going on.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
You nearly said a fucking chaos.
Of course, I'm going to be self-opinionated because I'm following my experiences and history. That's the point here. Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Is Jared talking next? I can't hear him.
Fuck.
No, speak again, Jared. Speak again.
Okay.
I'll have to go out and come back in.
Yeah, come do that.
Wait a minute, Poe. Wait a minute, Poe. Wait a minute.
He can't hear me.
Go on, Jared. Have a go.
He can't hear me though.
Can you hear him?
No, can't hear him.
No. Okay, go back and come in again, Poe. Go on. Well done. Yeah, Poe is a staunch supporter of Trump. I am staunch supporter of reality, bearing in mind I'm using history and step-by-step jigsaw puzzles from the past.
Right. So, okay. Well, here's the thing, though.
That's my way.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, Jen. Like when you have the presidency that's out there for the public to criticize or look at. You know, you can go down the line, do your armchair quarterback of all the presidents.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I think what Poe is looking for is a specific time when these powers that ought not be took control over the president and actually made him do what they wanted him to do. Like,
yeah,
I would go,
Jared, everything Trump's doing is not what they want him to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Why do you think they're obstructing everything and stopping everything?
I feel sorry
right.
for you, man.
Well, and that's why I believe that they're not perfect. These aren't perfect people. I think they make mistakes just like everybody else. And as much as we want to make out that their plan is super tight and they don't, you know, they never make mistakes. I mean, come on.
But if you look, Jared, if you look at what Trump's doing, if they wanted this agenda, what Trump's got, to move it forward, they'd just stop all the obstruction, wouldn't it? It'd be so easy.
It seems to me that's what they've been wanting to get out of him. Like, they want him out. Like, that is clear.
They don't want him in at all. They've been trying to fucking hang him with this for 2 years.
But they
just had a 2-year investigation with 5,000 fucking subpoenas, 500 witnesses. What do you think all that was for, Jim? To get rid of him, so they could fucking get him out the way, because he's rocking the boat.
Yeah,
and everything, just about everything he touches turns to gold. So everything's working for him at the moment. They'll do everything they can to upset his plans, and everything the voters wanted, what he said he'd do on his campaign trail, he's doing it. And that's what I like about him. He's not talking shit. He's doing every single one on the list that he said. And I don't think fluoride in the water was one on the list.
Jen, what's great about these hangouts and what's great about Pove and you guys is that we're gonna be able to tell. We're here in 6 months, like you said. You know, you told me that people are going down in 6 months. I'm holding you to that, Pove.
Indictments. Because if you look back at Trump, look at some of the interviews Trump's had. He believes in an eye for an eye, and he don't let anything go. Anything. You think of the shit they've said about his family, his daughters, his wife. He won't let he'll not forget any of that.
Tranny.
He'll have him.
Pizzagate.
Oh, he'll have him. Revenge, he says he believes in revenge, an eye for an eye. Whatever. If somebody wrongs you, he said, you should get that person back. Whatever it takes, get them back. That's the kind of guy he is. Straight as a die. And I said he was shit-proof. I said he was shit-proof. Yeah, he's had companies that some things have gone bust, one thing or another, whatever. That happens in business. That's just business. That happens.
Well, it is interesting that you have a media, and I've never seen anything, not even close. Clinton, when he was, getting harassed, this is so far beyond, like harassing or trying to. I don't know what they're doing.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
It really is. Like how like
cruel.
Much.
When you think they're American people, they should be on board with it, shouldn't they? They should be on board with the president. I mean, obviously, there's two parties, and one side wants their people in, and the other side wants their people. That's academic.
Both sides of the same coin.
But you keep saying this, Jim, but they wouldn't vote differently, would they, if they weren't?
It baffles me how you can't see that. I'm baffled, man.
Well, are you telling me then, Jim, that they thought Trump would win? Because I was one of the very few who said, who said he'll piss it.
Everybody knows, I tell you, 99%.
Nobody knew he was going to win.
Can I finish? 99%, because you know what I'm going to say anyway, don't you? 99% of the world knows, not of the world, in America there, I won't say 99, but that's ridiculous. 99% of flat earthers know that Trump was selected, not elected.
Get fucked. Don't talk shit. Even every fucking poll, every Gallup poll.
What's your language, Pove, or I'll fucking give you some verbal diarrhea. Your ears will
get fucked.
So watch it.
Fuck you.
Right?
Every fucking Gallup poll, every Gallup poll, every news
station,
every bulletin laughed at him and said,
or every Gallup poll? Which one is it?
Every fucking Gallup poll.
Everyone?
Every fucking news station, everybody in any position said they laughed at him, Jim. They laughed at him and said he's a balloon. Fuck me, did he show them?
Gallup poll was set up as a trap for people like you to fall in to make it look like it's real.
I didn't fall for it. I voted him in.
You're a lemon.
I didn't fall for it. I voted him in and I said he'd win.
Yes, but you're
I fell for anything.
You think your vote meant something, but you don't know that it meant anything. It meant niche. You didn't have anything to do with Trump coming in.
Do you know what it's like? Do you know what it's like now? It's like holding a new election now and having Trump and Clinton and Yucko the clown coming in and fucking winning it. It's no different.
Listen, Trump is a clown. That's the thing you don't realise.
No, he's no clown. He's one fucking smart man, I tell you.
Listen, the elections in America have been rigged. The elections in America have been
they were nearly rigged this time.
Hang on. Have been rigged since Kennedy's assassination, right? You've only got to go follow. Hang on a second. I'll give you some names and sources and references. Go look at the Collier brothers. People of honor hang on. Honor and integrity. Go look at them. It's called Vote Scam. The stealing of America. I've seen it. Right. Well, then they spent 25 years and they proved that the system was corrupt. And
what about the
sudden come? Hang on, Poe. It hasn't all of a sudden come clean. It's not corrupt now, no? It's not corrupt.
What about the 60,000 votes they had for Clinton who were dead?
What about
people who were dead? There'll always be corruption.
It's rigged. That's why he got in.
No, there's always corruption because
no
there's
one's
greed.
Elected in America.
There's always corruption.
In America, do
you know? Let me tell you why it's different this time. Because Trump had money.
Go on then.
There's no greed. He's not made any more money since he's been president. What money's he made? He donates his fucking wage. He doesn't even take a wage for doing it. Do you know that? He doesn't even take a salary, Trump. Obama took one. Doesn't take a salary.
That doesn't mean anything.
He doesn't need it. What does he need it for?
Can I answer?
He's a billionaire. What does he need money for?
Can I answer that, please? Can I?
Well, the answer is he doesn't take a wage.
Bloody hell.
Can I answer to it? Well, there's no other answer to it.
Am I muted here? Have I been muted? Right. Let me get my words out now. Hello.
Fucking muted.
It doesn't matter that he doesn't take any salary. It's all in the script. It's all in the script. He's making money.
Where are you getting this? But where'd you get this script from? How come this script just pops up out in the middle of nowhere now? Where was the script with Obama?
The script has been in there. Wow. The script has been there before you were born. Hello, Uber.
Okay, so.
Hello, Uber.
What's up, Josh?
Okay. I said hello, Josh. Not talking. Fair enough.
Okay, so Jen.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, guys? I was just waiting for it to calm down for a second before I said what's up.
Can I say I'm calm? Josh, I'm as calm as can be. Cool as a cucumber. I'm not angry. I'm not irate. I'm just trying to.
Hey, Jen. Dude, I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm in your corner on this one, man, because I think Pove needs to see that these governments don't give a shit about you, period.
Right.
And I know he wants to think that Trump is outside of politics and all, but dude, Trump is actually related to fucking like Hillary Clinton, like through marriage and shit. Like Trump is related to all those other assholes, you know, like he's not that far removed.
Yeah.
That's where my
Come
problem
on, where is Pope?
There is a witch hunt, though, guys. There's a witch hunt against him. And you got to wonder why.
I don't believe in that witch hunt myself. I just think it's theatre.
Well, I mean, have you seen it though, Jen? Like, have you seen them?
I've been following it since he got in during his campaign. I followed it all the way from his campaign trail.
Have you been watching it lately?
I haven't watched it absolutely lately now. No, not recently. No.
Dude,
because I'm not really interested in Trump. That's the point.
No, but here's the point though. The media is absolutely in a hateful, vile mode of get this guy out of here. And it's very strange to me. I don't know why.
Do you know what, Gerard? It really surprises me because you are good at dissecting false flag videos and stuff when it happens.
Yeah.
You've lost this. Yeah, You're scaring me.
Why?
You're
Dude,
scaring me.
this is what's happening. I mean, are you gonna?
No, hey, Jin, Jared's bringing up a very valid point. The media is really playing some weird shit with this.
It's crazy.
Okay, hang on a second, guys. Can I just take us back to the ODD video with everyone saying the same thing? Be it the weather, be it bad for democracy, whatever. And they all parroted the same thing.
But that's
be the same thing again.
But Jen, that proves my point, though. You see what I'm saying? Like they have control over the media, right? So now there's a overall attack going on against Trump, and the media is the front runners of this. Now, if there's a controller behind them, that should tell you that maybe the powers that ought not be don't want Trump there. Just saying.
Well, okay, but the point is,
hey, Jared,
you're proving my point. It's scripted. You're proving my point.
Yeah. Hey, Jared, what if it is part of the play? I mean,
yeah, it could be. It could very well be.
I mean, would it be beyond them to script in a fight? You know, like
no, it wouldn't, and it's very possible. But from what I've witnessed, I just don't think so. Like I can't.
Well, what if this happening in their mind? Because you know how they're all about like the greater good kind of shit, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They are so into letting even their own people be ignorant on something to further their agenda.
Decompartmentalization, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, media. That is something that Wyatt is going to have to be put on lock and key with keeping information down, dude. And that shit's going to be hard with the media. Fucking stuff gets passed around, man.
Look at what's been pushing, what they're pushing now, with all the new stuff that they're trying to get pulled. It's a hand-in-hand thing, I believe. The media goes with agenda. Truly believe that there's really little separation, if any, from the powers that ought not be in the media. I really just don't see.
Right.
Like the power, I can't imagine an all-powerful world leader who just can't seem to get the media on his side.
Well, this is a new era. I suppose they say it. It's a different time, different game.
So you see what I mean, Jen? Like why I'm confused, because it's yeah. That's all I'm getting at. I'm not trying to like be argumentative towards either way.
No. That's what I'm trying to say to you. That's why I'm saying you're scaring me, because usually you're on the ball. You're razor sharp. You when you say something, we can verify it, and you're right half the time. You see?
You watch Lift the Veil, right, Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was 3 days ago. The show he did, I think it's about 16 minutes long.
Right.
But it was a very good show. You should check that one out. That'll give you kind of a better idea of
where you're coming from, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Rocket Ship in the chat.
Yep, Rocket Ship. Hey, thank you for coming, man.
Hey.
Rocket Ship is interesting, man. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that he's not a flat earther. He's a baller, but for some reason he just likes hanging around the channel because he likes
Ship. Just don't be a douche, man. That's all I care about.
You know what?
He's never a douche.
Don't be a douche.
Yeah, the guy's been aces as far as I've seen. I mean,
me too. Nothing but good. Even in the chat room as well. He's cool.
Oh, he joined our. Hey, what's up, man? He joined our chat. What's going on?
Yeah, love the guy.
Ah, there he is.
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, man?
Well, I saw him typing away. And
you guys can hear me, right?
Trouble. Yeah, we can hear you, Rocket.
Oh, cool.
Where are you from, man?
What's up, Rocket? How you doing, man?
What's up? Yeah, just all right.
Where are you from, man? Where are you hailing from? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you UK or?
Yeah,
Okay,
I am.
cool.
UK and all that.
Wow,
Maybe a bit quiet because my family's here, and I'm pretty sure they are a bit aware that, yeah, they're all just like, oh, you shouldn't be talking to people online, but I find you guys cool, don't worry.
You shouldn't be talking to people online. You know what? That was something I was taught growing up because there was a lot of weird, creepy people in chat rooms.
Yeah.
And it was different back then, though, because you didn't know who you were talking to because you were just typing, you know?
Yeah.
But now we can get on and we can like talk and interact with each other. It's like, unless somebody's really hiding something, you can usually tell A, if they're a man or a woman, B, if they're older or younger, you know, like
Yeah.
it's really easy to tell. But yeah, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm all right. Just don't really have anything to do at the moment.
Aha.
So yeah,
Dude,
I just decided to come along, see that you're
you
alive.
sound like you're
Just join.
you sound like you're in the same part of England as Nathan Oakley. Just saying.
I don't know where he's from.
You,
So
you, you
I can't
guys
really verify that.
you guys have somewhat of a similar accent, the way you guys pronounce words.
Yeah, well, I've been told that I sound American. I always got asked at school when I was at school, "Are you from America?" And it became such a thing. I was just like, "Yeah, I'm from America." I'm like, "Well, cool."
That's right. Guys, if I can tell you, I think he's Caribbean, but he's got an American, slight American accent. Am I right?
Do I have an American accent? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's
not really, man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I can pick up accents really easily.
Yeah, me too. I'm detecting some Caribbean and a little bit of an American, slight
I'm
American
guessing
accent.
Scotch Romanian.
I'm not American. I just watch a lot of American stuff on the
American.
internet, and I think that influenced me a little bit.
Yeah, I can tell you're not American. I know that. I know you're more Caribbean.
Half
you're
Chinese
born in London or England,
and
anyway.
half Comanche Indian.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, that I would never have known, of course. But with my black brother here speaking, I can tell almost pinpoint where he's from, just from his accent. And he was born in London. He's a bit shy though at the moment. Tentative then, eh?
Who are you talking
about? What's his name? Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your call sign?
What's my what?
Your handle. Your name on the Hangouts.
Oh, rocket ship.
A rocket ship. That's it. Yeah. So rocket ship. You're from the UK, are you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, where were you? Were you born in
London?
I
wasn't born in London.
Outside up north. Where were you born?
So you like London?
Further up north.
So you love London, man.
Okay, let me see.
I'm not going to say exactly where.
Peterborough?
Yeah. Okay. Gin.
Yeah.
The Spanish
never mind.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Don't worry. I'm up to speed. No worries.
And hey, Jin, I understand that your intentions aren't bad or anything, dude. You're because a lot of flat earthers actually really don't care, or they don't mind fucking saying exactly where they are, dude. Like, I've put things online that I've given my GPS dot while I'm like at my house, kind of shit, you know. Like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
doesn't bother me none.
Right. Me neither.
So, but at the same time, we do understand we should understand when people don't feel the same way and want to share that. And Jin, we should actually ask them if they don't mind. Like,
I totally am all about anonymity if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand that this is not easy topics to be talking about.
Yeah.
But it's okay, Jin, dude. You're good, man.
No,
You're
he's good.
You're just, dude. You are like one of the most intense, like zealous people I've met for this, bro. Like,
intense and zealous.
Yeah, you know why? Because I'm fed up with what's going on. That's why.
Yes.
Totally. And like I said, I've been saying it, I'm going to go out with a bang, man.
Well, I love your passion, Jin.
Hey, Jin, I gotta ask you, since you're in Japan, do they do roast duck in Japan like they do in China?
Can you guys excuse me for a second?
Go for it, buddy. Do what you got to do.
Yes, they do. But in some places, Josh, they do it in reverse. If you order crispy aromatic duck, for example, in England and America, you actually get the meat shredded, don't you?
Stop it.
Yeah, you get the meat shredded. But in Japan, you get the skin. I told them off. I said, I don't want to eat the skin. I want to eat the meat.
Come on.
How you doing, Pove?
Oh, dude, but apparently the skin's the best part because the skin has that layer of fat.
Yeah, I hate that. That's right. That's exactly what they say in Japan. I said to the Japanese waiter, I said, excuse me, where's the meat? He says, oh, I said, bring the meat, please. Oh. I don't want to eat skin. It's costing a lot of money for this. He soon brought the meat. Yeah,
when I was there, I said to the waiter, this meat's lovely. He said, thank you very much.
Yeah. I eat the meat. It's beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely. But in Japan, it's in the reverse. They love the skin. I hate the skin.
Well, wow. So in Japan, okay.
So what's the topic?
Because I know in China, they pretty much like eat like the
jaded a bit to ponder over and chew that up. What I'll give you. Yeah. When has it ever been like this?
Hello.
Hello, welcome
back. Rocket.
Hey, Rocket.
Hello.
Rocket, what is your height, your weight?
When's it ever been like this?
I don't measure my weight, but I do know that I'm 6'2".
6'2".
You're 6'2".
Okay.
Hey, did you play any sports growing up, Rocket?
No, I didn't really play any sports. I did do a little bit of football because all the kids at school were doing it. I was like, I'm gonna join them, but then I absolutely failed at it because I was terrible at it, and I just haven't really been very sporty.
Were you?
Where are you, Rocket?
Were you considered to be a good scholar, school-wise?
Where are you in the UK?
He's in England. That's basically what he's disclosing as far as location.
Pove, can you not hear us?
Or he's in the UK, my bad. The UK, not England specifically.
Pove, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you all.
No, Pove.
Where are you?
Oh, Pove.
Can you tell Pove that to try to get off and rejoin?
Where are you?
Me? I'm from the UK.
Yeah, where in the UK? What area?
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Okay.
Pove, can you hear me?
I might be over there next week.
Hey, Pove, can you hear anybody?
Pove, can you hear
what?
Josh and Jared?
No.
Okay.
Let me go out and come back in.
Yeah, pop off and pop back in.
Yeah. That's unusual. That is Pove's having problems today. That's unusual.
Funny, dude.
That is really weird. I swear I was fucking talking to myself, and I was apparently.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was just steamrolling the conversations, like he does sometimes. But no, he legitimately couldn't hear anybody.
Yeah. No, he couldn't. He's trying to wind me
up. He came off as a real asshole, didn't he?
Oh, mic check. Can you hear us now?
Got you now, guys.
Gotcha. What's up, buddy?
All right. Sorry, but fucking my day with all this. Every time someone comes in, I get kicked out.
Sorry about that. What's going on there?
It's your fault, Jim.
It's all part of the plan, Jen. It's a big.
That's right.
Jim's agenda.
Part of the script.
It's part of the script, man. Trying to hold Pove down. Fuckers.
Well,
Hey,
Rocket, I was
Rocket.
born in London.
So here's a question that's not so personal, but it is kind of personal. Do you trust NASA?
No.
I do mostly, but there are a few edgy things.
Okay, so let's go with let's start with like the moon landing, dude. What do you think about the moon landing?
It's gonna be great. Conspiracy theories, my favorites. All right, the moon landing. What about it? Ask me a question on the moon landing.
Well, you see, I don't even go with conspiracies, man. I could give a shit what they show me with the pictures and stuff like that. I go off of the information that's given, that's recorded, supposedly, and
presented to me.
Yeah, and what we're told about the way things run, you know?
Yeah.
Like with physics. Because I mean,
I do
go
take what they give us, right? We can only take what they give us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I go back and I check and double check and make sure that, yeah, this is what we were taught and this is what they're teaching now. And yeah, I mean, dude, can you imagine what they're going to have to do to the science textbooks now that they got to say that the moon is in Earth's atmosphere?
It's in Earth's orbit, yeah. I haven't really researched how far the atmosphere goes out.
They say it goes
still
like
got it
past the moon now.
Still got it at the same distance, though, Jack, haven't they?
Yeah, they still got the moon at 230 something thousand miles. Yeah.
Just saying the atmosphere goes out.
When you
it's 100 kilometers or 62 miles.
Is
it's the border between the atmosphere and not space.
Yeah, but how can that atmosphere be the same as Earth's atmosphere?
Hold on. Like science as of late, as of the last how long has it been now, guys? Like a month or so?
Since what?
What, since they made that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Earth.
Buzz Aldrin?
Oh wow, it's really changing. You know, I'm looking through this, and with different questions, it says here, right, 62 miles, and then it goes to 31 miles, then it goes to 300 miles, and then 6.8 miles.
I mean, okay,
so or whatever. But yeah, it kind of changes a little bit as it goes out.
Okay, so here's a website you might be familiar with that you may consider a reliable source. Phys.org.
Phys.org.
Are you familiar with that website?
No, I'm not.
It's a physics website.
Yeah.
And also like space.com, which is a space website. It's supposed to be a legit website, right? They all are saying, surprise, Earth's atmosphere extends far beyond the moon.
Cool. All right.
So, like you were saying, that ever-changing number is apparently, dude, 300 miles?
I think I might have read that wrong. I'll look it up again.
No, you didn't read it wrong. They are always changing the number.
That's what they put it. They did put it at that.
It's a blatant, purposeful thing that they're doing.
It's all nonsense.
So yeah, it starts up 62 miles there. It goes to Earth's atmosphere is about 300 miles thick, but most of it is within 10 miles or 16 kilometers of the surface. Okay, so then it says the atmosphere is 300 miles thick. Then up here it says the Kármán line, which is 62 miles, is off from the border between the atmosphere and outer space. So yeah, it has two different answers here, from 62 miles to 300 miles.
Well, here is. Oh wait, wrong chat. This one. Here is a link for you. And that is all of, I mean, like, okay, so how far away do they tell you that, how far away do you think the moon is? You think it's 234,000 miles away, right? Like the way we're taught?
Yes, I do.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Hassan.
yeah, no worries, man. I figured that. We were all taught the same thing, dude. No worries.
4,000 kilometers. Oh yeah, yeah.
But so that means that if I can show you a bunch of articles that have been done since late February, like February 20th, 19th, around there. And every single one of these articles, I mean, it's from like PBS, Science Alert, Big Think, Business Insider, phys.org, earthsky.org, ESA International, space.com. I mean, like
Popular Science, probably.
Yeah, network after network, Motherboard, University Today or Universe Today, Live Science, Astrobob, Nature.com.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and every single one of these is saying that the moon flies through Earth's atmosphere. But what did you just read right now?
I just read that the atmosphere doesn't go as far as the distance that the moon travels around the Earth.
Like,
yeah, but they're saying the moon is now in Earth's atmosphere. That would still the same distance away.
All right, I'll find Google. Is the moon in Earth's atmosphere?
Next, they'll be changing the distance.
Oh yeah, here it is. Surprise!
3,000 miles.
Earth's atmosphere extends far beyond the moon. Yeah, Earth's geocorona, a tenuous cloud of hydrogen atoms, extends up to 390,000 miles into space, according to new research. For perspective, the moon orbits Earth at an average of 239,000 miles. That's interesting. That is quite cool, actually.
Okay. Rocket ship.
But like, I mean, okay, so you read a minute ago 300 miles, and now it's
that was just because that was on Wikipedia. Okay, you really expect Wikipedia to come out with the greatest answers? More, I guess, trustworthy sources
doesn't it kind of bother you though?
Would have more, smarter things to say.
So isn't the definition of space like outside of Earth's atmosphere?
Yeah, where it's a complete void and there's no like air resistance or anything.
Okay. So that means that the Earth has a over a 230,000 mile bubble around it.
Yeah.
You know what's even worse is, do you know how long they've had this information?
Yeah.
No, I do not know how long they've had this information.
I think it was like 20 years.
They said since the Apollo missions, apparently.
Oh, okay, so since the Apollo mission, so they've had it since the 1960s.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure back then it was just a theory or an idea until it was recently actually proven, I guess. And they realized, oh yeah.
How do things get proven though? Have you ever looked back on how like science became science? Have you ever done any research on the history of?
I've done quite a bit on science. I was more into just the Greek stuff.
Okay.
So there was Yeah, I've done quite a bit on the star signs and everything. How like the Greeks did all the stuff that they did, and then the Romans did the stuff that they did. So yeah, I have.
Okay. The thing is if you type in like where does space start, right? And space is supposed to be defined outside of Earth's atmosphere, where it's a
62
vacuum.
miles, isn't it? 62 miles. 62 miles, the common.
Yeah, it tells you 62 miles up to 300 miles, like you said before.
Yes.
But
you know how many times they've changed the distance of the sun?
Since even just the Apollo moon missions, even if they had the theory, like you said, even if it was just a theory, why wasn't that theory ever brought up?
Because I don't think people would want other people to be fed information that might not be true.
So you like dictatorship?
Well, isn't it up to people to be able to make up their own minds whether it's true or not with what they're being told, with what they're able to observe and see?
You can't really just make up your own mind and say, oh yeah, I think that's true. But, you know, I think you have to, if you want to find...
How can you quantify any of them distances?
Pardon?
How can you quantify any of them distances that tell?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get these stars, for instance, you can find the distance between them due to... What? Okay, sorry, Master's calling me.
No big deal.
Go for it, man.
You're good.
Interesting character. Interesting. I was going to ask him how far he thinks the moon is. That was my question. How far does he think the moon is? Because I don't.
He already said he thinks that it's 234,000 miles away.
Oh, does he? He believes that, does he? Oh, sorry. Rocket ship.
Yeah.
How far do you think the moon is from Earth?
Well,
how far do you know it is? Do you know what it is?
I do not know the exact. I do not know the exact distance, but the distance that is given to me from space.com is 384,400 kilometers.
Kilometers, yeah. Do you believe that?
From the company or whatever, or website would gain, I would find it pretty trustworthy. However,
why would you find it trustworthy?
Because I don't see any reason for them to give me false information.
Well, you know that part on the moon that's only 30 miles across, don't you? That you can see with your naked eye.
That's 40.
It's a tiny little bit on the top left. It's only 30 miles across, 200, and you can see that far, can you? 250,000 miles with your naked eye. 30 miles. Think about it.
Do you know what he's talking about, Rocket?
I do. No, not really. I don't know the exact thing he's talking about on the moon.
Okay. Well, there's a crater. Apparently, there's a crater on there that's 40 miles.
What is it, Josh?
Crater on moon.
40 miles.
Yeah, it's 30 miles across, and you can see it clear every night with your naked eye.
Pove can't hear me, can he?
It's 250,000 miles away.
No, you can't.
Sticky motherfucker, you. You can't hear me.
Hey, Pove, you can't hear Jared at all, can you?
Oh, I'm going to have to go out and come back in. Hang on, Jared.
Fucking cheapers. What is going on with this? I've been kicked off my own Hangout like 4 times now. Is there something I can do, Josh, to help me? Like,
voodoo.
Am I missing something here?
What latency do you have it set at?
What does that mean?
Okay, so never mind then. That means you haven't adjusted it and lowered it, so that's why you're having struggles a little bit, I think.
Okay.
Next time you go to fire up a Hangout, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how you have, like when you type in the title and the description and stuff, that's the basic info. And there's a little tab at the top that says advanced.
Oh, I can still go back to that, can't I?
You can change some stuff, but you can't change the latency of your broadcast in the middle of it, I don't think.
Okay.
But at the beginning, you're able to set the latency. And if you put it on low latency or normal, you shouldn't have a problem. If it's on normal, try dropping it to low and see if that helps.
Okay.
I can hear you now, Joe.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Back to Rocket. Okay, so there's a 40-mile wide crater.
Cool. That crater.
They've told us this. This is what's the information that we are getting is from them. It's 40 miles wide, and they expect us to see a 40-mile wide crater from a rock in space that's 240 some odd thousand miles away. Now, does that make any sense?
Well, guess it just depends on how good your eyesight is.
How good your eyesight is.
Well, if you get obviously
so you're counting on them.
Have quite good eyesight, and so I can see not very, but quite small things. Pretty sure if I were to look at the moon on night on a full moon, when it's a clear day, there isn't really much interference. I'm pretty sure I'd be able to at least see it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a little experiment you can do here on this place.
So you can see something 30, 40 miles across.
This can be done from anywhere. You can do it right now if you want. Just get on Google Earth, and I'm trying to think. Can somebody think of something that's 40 miles wide off the top of their head? Anybody?
Oh, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna let me see if I can see it from Earth, aren't you?
Well, it'd just be a logical thing to do. You'd raise.
See, it's the moon.
Well, you'd raise up until you could see the 40-mile wide thing on the Earth, right?
Yeah, well,
it's logical.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just something you could do yourself. It's not, it's not trying to, be conspiratorial by any means. That's just what you do if you want to try to get some answers from something that's they're claiming that's that far away. That's a pretty big claim.
It's like when you go
make that claim, they better be right.
Rocket, when you go on an elevated plane, like say you're on a hill somewhere and you look right on the horizon, you can see lights. The last lights you can see on the horizon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Street lamps or whatever they are, right? How far away is that, do you think, from your eyes distance? How far do you think you look into the horizon? The furthest light away you'll see. What you naturally see.
What we naturally see, the horizon.
With your naked eyes.
The naked eye. Well,
could you see? What I'm saying is, when you see that light, when you stood on a hillside, and you look right to the very horizon over a plain of grass or fields or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you see a light that far away. Do you think you could see a car on the floor next to it?
Probably not. I mean, it just depends.
Well, that's the size of satellites that are supposed to be 300 miles away. Why are you seeing them?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. You see, I can't just do that right now.
No, I'm just saying the satellite is the size.
I have no idea.
If the satellite's the size of a small car, you won't see it 300 miles away.
Well, I remember, one time I was in Cyprus and I was sat on the balcony outside my room and I was staring up at the stars, just watching them. And this tiny little white light, like little white dots, just kind of floated by above me and just kind of went off and it stood in a straight line, which I believe was a satellite.
What, it moved at a different speed?
No, it moved at a constant speed above my head, just moving away.
Have you seen
but you believe the satellites. They're just lights in the sky. You can't confirm that, can you?
Well, I can't confirm it was a satellite, but I'm going to guess it was, considering the fact there was lights, like a white dot, so obviously it was like a sun reflecting onto it, or it was producing its own light, but I'm pretty sure it was sun reflecting on it. and it was moving at a constant speed in a
try and find an actual.
Hang on, Pove. Let me get a word in here.
Try and find an actual picture.
Hang on, Pove. Let me get a word in here, Pove. Guessing is not confirmed.
Yes, I know, but I just guess it was satellite. I'm not saying it is a satellite. I can't exactly prove it was a satellite, but I'm pretty sure.
Pove, go ahead again.
But if it's 300 mile away where they're saying they are, you can't see that far.
So, Rocket,
you certainly wouldn't see a car. You certainly wouldn't see a car at 300 mile away. That's like you looking from Cyprus to Iraq and saying, "Oh yeah, you can see a car on the fucking ground there in Iraq."
No, hey, how many miles away, Poe?
Well, they say they're 300 mile away, don't they? They say they're 300 mile up the satellites.
Yeah, that'd be like standing in Los Angeles and being able to see what was happening in Las Vegas.
A car in Vegas.
Well, firstly, I couldn't make out the shape or anything. To me, it looked just like a white light. Also, when you come to seeing things from Los Angeles to, I don't know, New York, well, there's a long distance between them. And, well, yeah, obviously there's long distance, but there's a lot of interference and the curvature of the Earth as well. There's only a certain distance.
The curvature of the Earth.
Like, staring at the horizon. And you're staring at, like, the distance and everything. But when you're looking up above you, it's outer space. There's all these lights and stars and everything coming in at all these angles. And all the lights, it takes a lot of time to get here. And some of them doesn't take a lot of time at all. Satellite that I saw, or what I believe to have been a satellite, was reflecting sun, which made it just a small white dot. I can't exactly say like what the shape of it was. It was just a dot. But I still saw the reflection because it's shining light at me. And obviously you need light to see it.
Well, Pove was getting ready to say, if you could find a real picture of a satellite, that would be great.
Yeah.
Because we still have not found one.
Well, the average satellite's the size of a small car. And you can't see
it. I'd love to see a real picture of a satellite and doing what satellites are supposed to do. And that should not be hard. That is not a hard thing
to do. The moon one's a killer.
Should be easy.
You can see that 40 miles.
Hang on a second, guys. And according to the internet, there should be around 30,000 of them in up there. So you've got to have one.
And there's not one fucking photograph of any of them.
Right. Well, actually, there are quite a few photographs of them, but it seems that a lot of the time people just kind of look at them like, that's not real. And like,
see, where?
That's because they're called images.
Hey, Jen, real quick, where did you get 30,000, Jen? Jen, where did you get the number 30,000?
From Wikipedia.
No, they reckon there's four and
you might want to double check that one, Jen.
4,500.
Let me tell you something, Josh. I got these numbers. I got 17,000 one site. I got 24,000 another site. I got 30,000 another site. So I don't know which number to believe.
I think they were getting up to 8,000 at one time.
Yeah.
Well, there's been like there's only been like
point is
8,000 to 9,000 things launched, and like 4,000 of those things fell back to Earth or whatever, or supposedly.
Josh, Google satellites around the Earth images, right? And look at what they tell you.
Rocket's already doing it.
Oh yeah, you see them all.
Yeah.
Like
no, Jen's trying to have me see the number that he's seeing.
It's a nonsense,
Yeah.
All right. What do you want me to look up?
Okay, so you said that there's a real image of a satellite, a real picture of a satellite. Where did you find that?
Well, I'm going to just look it up right now because, to be honest, when I think back to real pictures I've seen before, I can't exactly remember where they came from. Just pictures I've seen. This one came from the Washington Post, which I'm guessing came from NASA. Ooh, NASA. And a lot of them came from NASA, to be honest.
Where did real quick before I forget, because you stated something that's really puzzling to me.
Okay.
Where did you get this?
But where's your photograph?
This confidence in NASA.
Well, where did I get this confidence in NASA?
Yeah, like where have they gone right? And you're like, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, it's okay, right. So first of all, I have no reason to believe that NASA have done anything so suspicious that they could be hiding the truth of the shape of the Earth. Yes, sure. They could be hiding something, but I can't jump to conclusions and say it's the shape of the Earth. They're all demons or something like that.
But do you think it's
possible? Do you think they landed on the moon, Rocket? Do you think they landed on the moon?
Landing on the moon?
Do you think anyone's ever landed on the moon?
I could say there is a chance that was faked, but that wasn't to hide the shape of an Earth. That was, I think it was more of just to say that they got there first.
But wouldn't that be the best? Wouldn't that be the best evidence when you've landed on Earth to look back and take a picture of Earth and say, "Wow, look at that! What we live on." That'd be the first thing that you'd say, wouldn't you? If I sent you to the moon now today, and you got on and you landed on the moon in 3 days, and you get out that little rocket ship, wouldn't you, that you've got there now, and you'd look around, and the first thing you'd want to see is Earth, wouldn't you, where you live?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a PDF. I've got a PDF. Hang on, let me finish, Jess. I've got a PDF of the whole transcript of the first lunar landing, and they never mentioned Earth once. 146 pages.
Okay, then what were they mentioning?
Did you get that rocket ship?
Yeah, I got it. What were they mentioning?
Well, they never mentioned Earth.
That's odd.
Never said the word
Earth.
Hang on, rocket ship. Hang on, rocket ship. You've been in space for 3 days. You land on the moon. You're going to mention Earth, aren't you? Surely. Come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I am. But first of all, what am I going to mention about Earth? I'm going to say it looks like a blue marble. And there was that picture, of course, that you've probably seen of the picture of Earth taken from the moon. So, yeah, that was a mention of Earth.
Did you see the picture?
What were they mentioning instead of Earth?
But they've already broke that photograph down.
They didn't mention it at all.
They've already broke that photograph down.
Okay, I got that. But instead of Earth, what were they mentioning instead?
Well, they never mentioned Earth at all. Not one time did they mention the word.
Yeah, okay. Hang on, Pope. Rocket ship. They mentioned the consistency of the sand on the moon and walking around, and they have to be careful with their balance.
What he said.
That's what they spoke about. They didn't speak about the Earth at all.
Okay, cool. Right. So, speaking of the consistency of the sands, what's wrong with that? Obviously, when you're on the moon, you want to learn about the moon, aren't you?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're 30,000 miles away, 300,000 miles away from home, or 258,000 miles away from home. You're going to look at your home first.
You are going to look at your home first.
Wow, look at the Earth. Come on.
Yes.
Don't be silly now.
Okay, right.
And they're all mic'd up, rocket ship. They're all mic'd up, so every word they said was transcribed.
Look.
Every single word they said.
Of course, they're going to mention Earth. And you're going to look at Earth and you're like, oh, that's where we're from.
But they never mentioned Earth once.
Dude, you would have to smack me over the helmet 50 times to get me on my attention because I've been staring at it the whole time.
But of course.
Can I get a word in once? Let me get a word in here.
I'm saying here.
Let me get a word in here.
Go ahead, Jen. I can barely hear you though. You're not coming in.
Yeah, and you sound like you're yelling from the corner of the room.
Here we go. Rocket ship.
Yeah.
Rocket ship. They never said it once. Rocket ship. They never said it once. Okay. Don't let that go over your head.
All right.
They never said it once.
Okay. So rocket ship.
Never.
And in addition to that,
hold on.
In addition to that, rocket, when you landed on the moon and you stepped out that rocket, you'd know every single footstep you made to stand on that moon. This is before you even land on it, before your feet even touch it.
Yeah.
Okay, Jared, continue with what you were saying, man, dude.
Okay. Rocket ship, have you said the footage of the picture or the pictures of
I'm getting muted. Why am I muted? I can't hear Jared. That's what it is.
You were talking over Jared, man.
I can't hear him, Josh. That's why.
Oh, fuck. You can't hear me still?
Come back in.
Hey,
wow.
Can you hear me? Pove, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Pove can't hear me again. Jeez.
Yeah. It's probably his fucking headphones or something, man. I swear. Or is it Google Hangouts? Probably Hangouts.
Anyway.
But yeah, go for it, Jared. Finish what you were saying, man, before he comes back.
Okay, so you mentioned a picture of the Earth from the moon, right? Is that what you said, Rocket?
Yeah, there was pretty sure there was a famous picture to get for the moon.
Okay,
the blue marble.
Go back and look. Hold on, Jen, hold on. Let me just hold on.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, I couldn't hear you, Jen.
Creepers. Okay, so like when you go back and you look for the pictures of Earth from the moon, you don't find any. They had cameras.
Yeah. Well, I'm currently looking at a picture that someone took from the moon to the Earth.
You're looking at one right now?
Yep, right now. Looking at it
yeah, but they broke that down, Rocket. They broke that down, and it was in a square. It was pasted in.
Okay, yeah.
Which good morning, sir.
Image are you looking?
Well, if you just search up Earth from the moon on Google Images, you're gonna get something out you.
Right.
Search up Earth from the moon on Google Images.
Think about this, Rocket. Think about this. Why isn't there more pictures, man? You're on the freaking moon.
Okay,
so it's hard to find a real picture, right?
Okay. Hey, Jared and Rocket, check this out. Rocket, that picture that you're talking about that they gave us from the moon, right? Of Earth. Wouldn't that be like one of the first things you did was snap a picture? It was actually like the last thing that they did. Like the very last thing, like, oh, hey, before we get in the rocket, let's take a picture of the fucking Earth so that we can.
I believe I almost forgot.
Okay.
The point I wanted to make.
And there was only one.
Rocket, the point I was trying to finish off with you there was when you stepped off that rocket ship, you'd know how far you stepped down, wouldn't you? Off the ladder. Yeah. Now, they interviewed Armstrong and they asked him how far he stepped, and he went like this, about that far. 3 feet he jumped out of that fucking ladder to the moon surface. 3 feet. That ladder ended 3 foot away from the surface, and he said about that far. So that tells you they're full of shit.
And Rocket Ship also, there was a video that's been out for a little while of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin faking a picture of the Earth, supposedly halfway to the moon. Have you seen that?
I have not. But wow.
Okay, so if you check out,
hey Jared, maybe it's helpful to stick to like things that are verifiable, though, man.
That's verifiable.
Right there, it's out. You can watch it yourself to verify whether or not you.
There's an interview with that, Josh. He actually does that with his hands.
No. No, Pove, not what you said, bro. What Jared's saying right now. You still can't hear Jared, can you?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
I can hear you, Jared. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Jared was talking about the footage of that grainy footage of them doing that stuff on the halfway between the Earth and the moon and stuff, right, Jared? That's what you're talking about?
The time-stamped NASA footage that was time-stamped for they should have been about halfway to the moon. And it was clear in the footage and also on the audio that there is a gentleman who is cueing them to talk by saying talk before they talk.
That was Bart Sibrel, wasn't it?
Well, it was his film, but at the same time, the footage is, I mean, it's there. It's them. It's not, I mean, it's not doctored footage or anything. I mean, it's about as clear as evidence of fakery and, I don't know what deception as it gets, right? I mean, you're faking a picture of the Earth halfway to the moon.
It's terrible.
And so, like, the fact that people don't take it as serious as they should.
Well, everybody bought it, didn't they, Jared? Everybody bought it.
What do they need to do to what else do you need to prove that these guys are full of shit? Neil Armstrong didn't see any stars, man. I mean,
yeah, but I guess with the technology they had at the time, Jared, the technology they had at the time, everybody bought it, didn't they? But now we've got better technology. We can pull it apart. None of it makes any fucking sense.
Right. And, you know.
I mean, back in the day, everybody thought they landed on the moon, didn't they? It was the most watched fucking thing around the world.
Why would they lie? Why would they lie? And there's no reason for them to do so. I
mean, hey, Rocket, do you play video games?
No, I don't.
You ever played video games though?
Yeah, I used to, but I don't really anymore.
Okay.
I never really played any like hardcore games on the PS4 or Xbox. I don't have an Xbox, but
okay, so
it was more simple.
Do you think that you could land a rocket on the moon with an Xbox One?
Right. Do I think I could land a rocket on the moon with an Xbox One? Well, are you talking about the Xbox One itself? Because if you're talking about the Xbox One itself, no. If you're talking about the technology that the Xbox has, if you like to reconfigure it or something, I don't know. I don't know the technology used to create a rocket.
Well, do you remember?
I don't know.
Do you remember the old school Nintendos?
Yeah, I remember them.
The gray boxes that had those funky cartridges.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So those had twice the computing power of what they used to get to the moon.
Yeah, they reckon they went with a speak and spell, didn't they? What was the fucking nearest to what they had?
Well, I don't know.
No, that's
reported about rockets, to be honest.
Well,
I think I'm gonna have to listen to some more stuff on space and stuff. Maybe when I'm smarter, understand this a lot better, I'll be able to come back and talk more about this. But reaching into a field which I really don't know anything about.
Well, you've seen the songs on here, haven't you, that Alex done for Conspiracy Music Guru? Have you seen his parodies for the songs?
No, not really.
Yeah, it's not really a good platform to learn.
Guru, and what he says in them 6 songs that he's got on YouTube now. Once you watch the songs, you can go and research.
Maybe you can't hear me now.
Cool. It's all true.
Can you get
the songs are
a second again, because my family just came home.
Pope can hear you.
I'll be back in 1 second.
All
right, Rocket Ship. Hey, Hitch, go ahead and say something now. See if Pope can hear
you. Trump is a faggot.
Is he talking, Hitch?
Yeah, he can't hear you, Hitch.
It's because he come in last. Hang on. Let me get back out.
That's come back
right. And poor Jared keeps getting kicked out of his own hangout.
Yeah, just give him 5 minutes.
Just give me 5 minutes, please. Join this video call. That looks so funny when that pops up now when he joins back in.
Yeah.
It's like he's making an excuse.
Boy. Sorry, guys.
I'm pretty sure that's why he originally did that.
So this is a good conversation with the Rocket Ship.
Yeah.
Pope, can you hear me?
Yeah. What about Hitch?
Yep.
Speak up, Hitch.
Up.
Got you, man.
Oh, what's your problem?
Who? Me?
I'm just gonna fucking with it.
And I'm back. Hello again.
What's up? I didn't take
the outside. All right, yeah. Sorry about that. Just had to make my family aware that I'm speaking to a bunch of people who are flat earthers, and to be honest, they don't really have a very high expectations of you.
Hey, none taken.
Yeah, you know what? You start,
people don't Rocket Ship. We're used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually that happens when people start dating, but yeah, now we're in this whole internet era. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest turning people to Flat Earth Man songs or whatever that guy.
I wasn't saying that, Itch. I'm saying the things he says in the songs, you can go and research them.
Yeah. Can't you just tell him?
He hits the main
Hey,
point.
man, what are you talking about, man? You talking about Flat Earth, man?
Yeah, but he hits the main points to me. All you need to know
in
about
the form of music. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
No, I mean when he talks about they got the moon rock and it was petrified wood, you can research that, and it was petrified wood. You know, things like that are in the songs are all researchable. Everything he says.
I know not everybody has time to like actually look shit up. I guess. So we point them toward YouTube videos, and
well, that's what I mean. You don't wear 200 proofs and it's flat. Yeah, you can look at the base.
Oh, yeah. Rocket, before I forget.
Well, that's what you're talking there, 3-hour video. I'm on about hitting 5 4-minute videos and then go and look at what he wants. To me, they say everything.
If you're interested in like another approach, there's a lot of literature out there that was written a long time ago.
Oh yeah, way
like before NASA, and it kind of takes that whole NASA-ized thing out of the picture.
I'm just trying to simplify it.
Yeah, with regard to the moon landing, cool. But, you know, with the Earth shape in mind, you know, there's a lot of literature out there, and I think it's a better way of getting a broader understanding than just like whatever points.
That's what happened with me looking in them books in '82 when I was on Matt Jones, and I was looking in the reference books in the library, the ones that you can't take home. They're fucking this thick. And
as thick as you? 30,
well, nearly. But that's what I say. People who call me thick, I say, sit down next to me and let's see what you qualified in your life and see what I'm qualified in.
I'm not talking about your stature.
Get fucked.
Did you see the meme in the back?
What is it? Let me pull it up.
You're so mean.
I didn't make it, but I shared it.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's badass.
See, I can't get all them.
Both Helsing.
I've got that other one open. Hey, I've just bought another gun.
I'm back.
Oh, nice, man.
Oh, yeah, she's nice. Beckinsale.
I don't know if I'm a little bit quiet because I moved my thingy a little bit further away.
No, you're good, man.
All right, cool.
Oh, it's so, you
wondering why you were
done
answering
that,
me.
fucker.
I was like, man, you're a prick.
I also just want to say cheers, Rocket Ship. You're like very kind out there in the chat, and you know you never come off as like a jerk.
You know, I've been insulted quite a bit through my, you know, skimming through the comments of a live stream of flat earthers, and yes, but I try not to insult anyone back. The furthest I get is probably idiots or you're really dumb, but I've been constantly.
Yeah, there's no like.
I try to be as nice as possible.
And you are understanding that we were in your position at one point in time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's in a different position, right? He's saying it's a globe, and people are saying you're an idiot because you think it's a globe.
Oh, yeah,
called idiots because we think it's flat.
Once you look into it, though, Rocky, and do a bit of research, it's like someone's took a plug out your toe. You'll just get smacked in the face with it.
I don't think it's a good starting place. But I'm me. Like, are you familiar with like private central banking, like the Rothschild domination of the Bank of England rocket ship?
No, I am not. I'm more into.
Again, that is not conspiracy rocket ship. You like people.
Yeah,
well, I'd say that it is. Maybe it wasn't considered like illegal at the time. Because just really quick, like basically, one of the Rothschilds, I believe it was Nathan Rothschild, got advanced notice that Napoleon was going to lose in Waterloo. And he made a bunch of really big financial moves that allowed him to essentially take control over the Bank of England once that actually happened. So they ruled the financial system in England. And I'm just, because that's close to home for you. That's why I'm bringing that up. And
yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, but that's where he lives, So there's a lot of like slavery. We're more talking about mental slavery with The Shape of the Earth, but there's a lot of like financial slavery and a lot of usury. Just like again in the financial system, and the like another example, the Lusitania was a England-bound ship that was coming from the United States before World War One, and it was brought down by the Germans because it was openly carrying military equipment, ammunition.
Yeah.
And the Germans actually put out ads in the American newspapers saying, "Don't get on this ship because we're going to shoot it down." So they still, the ship still carried on, and it was still shot down. That's what got us into World War One, the Americans. So it's not isolated to the shape of the Earth. And I know that you're a young guy. You probably haven't had time to look into all this stuff.
Oh no, I've been looking into a few different things actually, but
but another point
that I haven't really looked into, and I should probably make a list of the things I need to look into.
Yeah, I was gonna say you writing some of this down because it's pretty important stuff.
Probably should, yeah.
Another point with the Rothschilds.
If you're questioning how we come to our conclusions,
yeah.
I mean, if you really want to get to know, that's how you get to know. You write it down, look it up yourself. Don't take our word for it. That kind of thing.
Another point with the Rothschilds, with the satellites and the globe. This is why I say, is it too big to bring down the globe? Because there's so much runs on the globe. All the carbon footprints now of all the factories all over the globe were all controlled by the Rothschilds. And the way they controlled that was they bought all the weather satellites, all the weather stations. The Rothschilds own them all, so they can tell you how much emissions are going up. You need to pay us this much.
All right.
Your carbon footprint. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Can you guys list off a bunch of things that you think I should research into? Because I have a piece of paper here. I'm going to write it all down.
Can I start real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm going to try and get a couple off that involve England, because you'll recognize some of the stuff. The Lusitania, that's what got America, the United States, into World War One.
Cool.
The Rothschild takeover of the Bank of England. And the Titanic is a really fun one. And I'll stop there.
Titanic, yeah. I've seen a couple of things on that. Cool. I have them 3 downs. Yeah, I have them 3 down.
Yeah, I'll stop there. Come back for more if you're interested.
Yeah. Just need to let my cat in because it's meowing and everything.
Yeah, but Itchy, I don't think it was because of the Lusitania that the Americans joined World War II. I think it was the bombing of Pearl Harbor.
It was World War One, the Lusitania.
Oh yeah, the World War One. You mean?
Yep. Pearl Harbor, World War II, and then again, this doesn't involve England, but the Gulf of Tonkin. That's an open false flag incident that got us into the Vietnam War. But that's not England. The British involvement in installing the state of Israel in what was Palestine.
Yes, Israel.
Cool.
Well, you look at the land grab there, what the Israelis have grabbed from the Palestinians. I mean, there's no left for them, is there? They virtually took it all. They'll be expanding soon, Israel, into the Middle East. You watch for that.
The Greater Israel Project. I mean, there's so much, It's really pretty mind-boggling, and there's just private central banking in general, with the use of fiat currencies at interest. That's, if you want to look at like fractional reserve banking, There's a video by a gentleman named Bill Still. He also has a book called On the Horns of the Beast, and it's actually a book about the Federal Reserve and its formation and the origin of money, going down to cow money and tally sticks. Tally sticks were a British tool. And I don't know do you guys have the ridges on the outside of your coins, around the circumference of your coins?
Well, the Irish don't. The Irish still pay for things with potatoes.
Do you guys have those little bumps on the circumference of your coins?
Yeah, we do on some of them.
They're for the blind.
No, they're there because what used to be done when coins were made of like silver and gold, people would they would clip a very small amount of the coin. Yeah, and it was called coin clipping. So those ridges on the circumference of your coins are there to prevent coin clipping. Yeah, so you'd know if there was a piece taken off.
Coins aren't pure silver now, though, are they? They're not like they used to.
No, it's just something that's kind of carried over,
I've been collecting the new pound coins from just a daft thing I've been doing. The new 2018 coins, and I've got a few 2019 ones that they've only just printed. They've only just let them out this year. But I've got a tub up here that I just, when I go to bingo, when you change your money, I just look at the coins. I'm looking for the spoiled ones. You can find a mule worth a lot of money. Where they've been misstruck, and they make them. Mm-hmm. They're making the pound coins now like a coin inside a coin. You look at the English pound coin. So it's two different metals. It's got an inner ring and an outer ring, like they did the £2 coin. But the £1 coins now, if you get a bad strike, they can be worth like $1,000 just one coin. If you've got a bad minted strike. A friend of mine, stamps, the perforation on stamps when you rip them off. A friend of mine had a block of them, 12 stamps, and the perforation went through 3 of the stamps. He sold it for 12,000 quid. Just because the perforation broke the stamp.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in the tally sticks. My favorite type of currency is tally sticks, just because it's so interesting. But I'm more talking about this stuff to let you know that the people, generally speaking, we've been lied to about a lot more than just the shape of the Earth, and that's one of those really big ones where it's like, oh my God, there's no way they can get away with this. But once you've seen how they've enslaved us so many other ways and got us into all these, terrible, violent conflicts, all based on a lie, it's a little bit easier to digest, that they could, not even that they did, but that they could lie to you about the shape of the Earth.
But the possibility is there, that's for sure, and you have to know that if
they've more or less lied about everything else.
Well, it would be
nothing's as they say it is.
Oh, Pope, can Pope hear me? Pope, can you hear me?
You can't hear me, can you? Pope Jared's talking.
Bugger you!
Sorry, Jared, I can't hear you. Well, he keeps going out, coming back in.
I don't know what to say. I'm disappointed in myself.
You didn't do anything.
No. Rocket ship, you there, bud?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening.
He makes a great point about the money deal. Because it tells you that it's not just as simple as a conspiracy against NASA, right? The term conspiracy is something that I would suggest that you look up as far as the history of that word and where it even comes from. You
were talking about conspiracy theory as a pejorative. Conspiracy is not a pejorative, but the term conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Thank you. Another thing that I think is important for you to take a look at is you said you like to look at the history of the sciences, right?
Oh yeah, I was into a lot of history, and I like looking at the Greek mythology. Greek mythology was a big thing. I wasn't more into the history of Greeks; it was more just myths and beliefs and everything.
Right. So then, if you go back to the timeline, there's a span of time between Pluto and Aristophanes. Is he the one that is Aristophanes? Is he the one that did the stick experiments?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go back,
are you talking about?
If you go back,
are you talking about
and
Plato?
look at that experiment that happened just out of nowhere. Plato was theorizing that the sun wasn't even a physical object, you know, and that was an accepted theory back then. Like, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, here comes Aristophanes, and then now he's putting two sticks in the ground. They're 500 miles away from each other, by the way. So you have to ask yourself, how did they verify that with the distance between those two points? You know, and when I looked back at it, I could not find. It's a mishmash of bullcrap that it seems you have to sift through in order to try to find some remnants of truth, but it's just not there. I'm not finding it.
Okay.
So the history is important as well to go and take a look at, because if they have control of the sciences, then it makes sense why this deception could be pulled off. If you're the one that's coming up with problems and you're the one that's coming up with the solutions or the answers to these questions, then how can you lose, really? So you got to go back to Newton, right? Newton came up with the equation for gravity, right?
Yeah.
So if you take a look at that equation, I don't know the years between him and can somebody help me out? After Newton, he was the one that
it wasn't 1643.
It wasn't Copernicus. It was
There's Tycho Brahe. I mean, I'm sorry, I wasn't really listening.
Kepler.
So Newton came up with the equation for gravity, right? To explain the force.
2,693. That's it. 2,693 years apart was Newton and Aristophanes.
2,000 years apart?
2,693.
Yeah. Long ways. Yeah, that's amazing.
I think so. Anyway, I'm just doing the math in my head.
Yeah, Aristotle's in there somewhere too, and I don't know, he's an interesting character also. I think he's 450 BC, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, so the guy right after Newton, he took Newton's equation, and he pretty much. Have you heard of the term of reverse mathematics or reverse engineered mathematics?
Yeah, I've heard the term. I haven't really looked into it.
Okay, so that's another thing you need to write down and take a look at Newton's equation. Okay, take a hard look at it, and then take a look at the person. God dang it! I can't believe him. Give me 1 second. I gotta figure this guy's name out, because I was just talking about this the other day, so I should know his name.
A quick question. Do you guys have Spotify or listen to podcasts on Spotify?
No, I don't.
Well, there's if you can, or if you can find a way to, there's a really, really good podcast which you guys can listen to, and it's called Astronomy Casts. And there's basically in this podcast there's two people, and I can't remember the name of both of them, but I do know the name of one of them. The smartest is a lady called Pamela Gay, and she's from America, and she's really smart in astronomy. And every week for 13 years, they've been doing this podcast on astronomy and different parts of the solar system, from things like the planets to the hype over exo-rock. I'm just looking through a bunch of different podcasts, but there's over 500 of them. And you should definitely check some of it out, because if you really want to learn about astronomy, you want to learn more about it, Astronomy Cast is on Spotify. It's a great playlist, which you can listen to.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that piece of information. Thank you.
I'm actually going to go into the chat on YouTube, and I'll put it there. Guys want to listen to
it'll let you.
There. It's great. Can anything about astronomy there.
So have you spent all your youth with astronomy then, Rocket?
I only recently got into astronomy. After I realized I wasn't very smart in it, I decided to check it out. And I went on to Spotify and just like, Astronomy Cast, this is great. So, yeah, I'm not too smart at astronomy, obviously, but something
there's quite a few in here. There's quite a few who visit these rooms who are astronomers all through and through until they woke up and realised that it was all shit.
Well, you could listen to some of that and then come back, because it's really great.
Sci-fi.
Rocket ship, how old are you?
16.
Oh, yeah, I thought so. Very
young. You got a long ways to go, brother.
I do. Quite a while, actually.
Well, you know what? It's awesome that I really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
I mean, I mean, maybe you won't. You might just fucking wipe your ass with all the shit we told you to look at. But if you really want to get to know what's going on here, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you don't check out that stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when we told you to check it out, and then later on you're gonna be like, "Damn, why didn't I look at that when they told me to?"
I think with me, I'm really, I'm very into the globe, and I'm like, I was sick by the globe, and I'm sorry about that. So I think when it comes to like the flat Earth, I don't really learn from. It's more of learning about, which is one of the reasons I'm here. But yeah, I guess it's more learning about what you believe in, rather than learning from you and be like, oh yeah.
Bearing in mind, rocket ship, bearing in mind that you're sticking with the globe, but you've never seen it with your own eyes. Real time video.
You seen the flat Earth with your own eyes?
You what?
Fire back.
There is evidence for why we believe it's flat.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, a lot of it is misunderstood information, which, of course, is going to be a lot of misunderstanding. But I guess sometimes you just look at things and you come up with your own conclusions based on the things that only you yourself can see. And that's not really a good way of gathering information. So sometimes you can misunderstand things, or sometimes...
Yeah, but if you expand the principle of water lying flat, if you built an Olympic swimming pool, then built another one next to it, another one, and another one, so you've got 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
That water won't curve. It'll be flat in them swimming pools. If you join them all together, that water will be flat. That's why canals are flat.
How about this? Basically, the way that water works is that there's a center of gravity to Earth, obviously, because it has mass.
Here we go.
Okay, let him explain.
So when you get a whole bunch of water on Earth, like the ocean, it's going to curve around the center point like an equal distance from the center. So yes, if you get a flask and you just pour some water in it, it's going to lie flat because it's not water's being forced to the center of the Earth. It's not going to curve around anything because there's no large force of gravity to cause it to change its character. But on the effect of the huge Earth, which is so large, you can't really see much of the effects with your own eyes from just standing on Earth itself.
But we can.
It can cause the water to curve gradually at a rate of 6 inches every mile.
Well, 8 inches per mile square.
Oh yeah, 8 inches. Sorry.
Oh, what? Hello? Who's that? 8 inches per mile squared it is, rocket ship. And we cannot find any curvature anywhere. Listen, there's a place called Kansas in the US.
The Kansas is a very flat place.
Yeah, it's flatter than a pancake. It's 400 miles long, right? And as far as I'm concerned, you can't have that on a spherical Earth. It doesn't make sense.
Well,
sorry.
Okay, right. Let's see. Why is Kansas flat? Even if Kansas is perfectly flat as to not conform to the curvature of the Earth, all of it proves that the Earth's surface is not perfectly smooth.
It proves that the Earth is not a spherical ball, that's for sure.
Well, okay, listen. It doesn't disprove that Earth is a spherical ball. It just proves that Earth is not completely flat. It has ridges, it has drops.
That the Earth is not a spherical ball, is what it proves. It's not
a spherical
ball. That. Hang on. And we have no evidence of this spin at 1,036 miles per hour at the equator. No evidence.
Actually do. Hold on, let me see. I was watching this video yesterday. Oops, dropped my pencil. And basically, he used a gyroscope to show you the spin of the Earth.
What video was that?
Thank you, dude.
Behind the curve.
I don't know if you saw this or not.
You want to see what's on at the movies? Yeah. Okay. I can see what's on the movies and call me back.
Okay. But basically what it did is it got this really huge gyroscope, which you can find somewhere. I can't remember. I think it was somewhere in America. And basically, as the Earth spins, obviously, this gyroscope, it spins very slightly. And you can see it happen over the course of 34 hours or 36 hours, I think.
How do you know we're spinning, though?
Because the gyroscope, and also,
couldn't the gyroscope be representing the interpretation of what the ether is doing?
The ether? Can you tell me what you mean by the ether?
Aries, or was it Aries failure? There's two things that can be happening. There's two interpretations: either we're spinning, or the cosmos is spinning around us.
Right.
Well, it's more likely. Well, what force is causing the cosmos to spin around us then? What is doing that?
Well, there's theories on that. Electromagnetism is something that I'm a proponent of.
As in light.
Is what?
As in light. Electromagnetism is light.
Well, I don't know enough about electromagnetism to.
Okay, let me tell you. Electromagnetism was found, I think it was sometime in the 1700s, where an experiment was done, and they found that light and electromagnetism has the same frequency, which shows that they are the same thing. They are connected. So if you're saying that it's electromagnetism which is causing the cosmos to revolve around us, that's saying that light does that. And obviously, with light, you need a light source.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how the cosmos would work in that sort of way.
Well, if you think of the sun and the moon as being on like a track, right? Like if the sun or the moon died today, do you think it would fall to the ground?
Do I think it would fall to the ground? It depends on how it ended up dying. What do you mean? Well, okay, right. So if the moon died, tell me what it would do if it were to die, since it's just a big chunk of rock.
Okay.
What would it do?
I don't believe it's a big chunk of rock. I think
let's theorize it did. Let's just say it did. It is.
Well,
what do you mean by it would die?
Okay, so when we look up and I see the sun traveling above me and around me, which is what my senses tell me that that's what it's doing. And the moon is doing the same thing. But as with everything that I know of that's lived, it's died. So where there's life, there's death. And you'd have to assume that one of these days the sun and the moon are not going to continue to do what they're doing right now. One of these days, stop.
In a very, very long time, it will eventually die out. Because the sun is in a certain stage, which is like a 1 in 9 of all the suns that we've found. Eventually it'll die and become a red star.
The sun that I see, okay, is not 93 million miles away.
Well, you're just looking at the sun. How would you be able to tell the distance to the sun just by looking at it, where you are stood and looking at it? Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that Elsa told us that it's funny how some distance makes everything seem small.
Yeah, you believe in somebody else giving you information about the distances. So I ask you, how can you be sure that the sun is 93 million miles away? Come on.
Well, I can't go 2 ways, man. And say, well, that's definitely 63 million miles away, whatever. But 93, sorry. But with the information I've been told,
right, information, second-hand information.
I'd have to take their word for
second-hand information.
So let's just go with that, Rafi. Let's take their word for it. Okay.
There's nothing I can do right now. I mean, yeah, sure, there is with a few experiments I can perform, but it'll take a long time, and I don't really have.
Let's pretend that they're okay. So that the sun is 93 million miles away.
Yeah.
Okay? So I look at the sun, and I see that it's the same size as the moon. Do you see that as well?
Yeah. It's not exactly the same size.
Not exactly, but it's pretty freaking close, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then if I am to take what they are giving me to believe, then I would have to take a look at what I'm seeing as two objects that appear to be close and put them at an outlandish distance away from me. Yeah. Not only that, but two separate distances that are what? What's 249,000 miles and 93 million miles? What's the distance between those two?
Wow.
Now you're telling me to disconnect my rational thinking, because it's rational to look at the sun and the moon and to assume that they're the same size.
Yeah.
Right? It would be a disconnect from my intellectualism, or whatever you want to call it. You would be telling me by teaching me this stuff and expecting me to believe it. You're telling me to disconnect myself from what reality is telling me. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
So why then, if we are told the 93 million miles as in the 269,000 miles at the moon, you just said it perfectly. We can't tell how far away.
I said you can't tell how far away something is just by looking at it, but of course, with the experiments and the things that we've performed.
Okay, so what are these experiments that you speak of? Because the experiments that I have looked at, every single one of them is dependent on looking and observing an object from a very far away distance. Now, that's not very scientific, in my opinion. And if you can't be for sure that this thing is that far away, and by the way, if you look at the history of how far away the sun is, back in Aristophanes, his fucking name, back in his day, they had put out there that the sun is 19 times further away than the moon. Okay. Now, when you go and you try to figure out, okay, well, how did they determine that it's 19 times further away from the moon? You can't find it anywhere.
No, maybe I should research it.
So the sun is actually 396 times further away from the moon then at first they hypothesized, right? There's a hypothesis that the sun is further away than the moon. So if they hypothesize that the sun is further away than the moon, then you would have to have some type of evidence to back that up.
Well, it was okay, yeah.
So the two sticks, that's where the two sticks come in, right?
Yeah, that was what they used to measure the curvature.
The only problem with that is there's a time lag by getting the information. How could they find that information between 500 miles distance? What did they use to communicate to get the information across?
Did they have a telephone? Did they have a cell phone? Did they have a car back in the
helicopter? Actually, Aristophanes and different students who went, and I think they. I'm guessing they planned the exact time of day in which they would. Obviously,
how would they know?
Can you imagine walking 500 miles? How long that would take?
Well, they didn't have any other way of transport. They probably had horse.
So then, how were they then able to do the experiment? Because there's not enough time. You see, there's a discrepancy here because there's a time factor in place. 500 miles. You would need to have two people in two different.
Never do it in one day. You could never do it in a day.
There's no way.
No, you can't do it in one day, obviously.
No, right. So there you go. Your experiences are old.
So that is where you are basing the whole point that the sun is 93 million miles away. That is where it starts right there, man, my man. And that's poppycock, to take a term from Crow. It's not right. It's
So I'm telling me that because something is a large distance away, 500 miles away, and it takes a lot of effort to get there, that they definitely did not do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Because it was an impossible task. And remember, back then...
No, it's not impossible. It's just a really hard task. Yet they decided to do it
in the time they're saying.
They want to
hang on.
What's more likely, Rocket? Is it more likely that they actually did that experiment, or is it more likely that they just said that they did that experiment? What's more likely? I mean, use your logical thinking here.
Okay, I think it's more likely that... Well, depends. I don't know what he was like. Maybe Aristophanes was a complete liar and a jerk, but everybody just wants to put him down because he's a great philosopher.
Yeah, that's more like
Maybe he didn't exist at all.
In the end, his calculations were quite accurate to the modern day, to our modern calculations of the curvature of the Earth. So it's likely that he did do it.
So you think he walked? They walked with their sandals. With their sandals, because they didn't have boots or shoes, and they walked that distance, yeah? Yeah?
Well, yeah. How else? I mean, obviously, yeah.
And they've got to get back.
They would have walked.
And they've got to get back.
And it would have taken a lot of effort, but that's not to say that they didn't do it.
They've got to get back 1,000 miles. Come on. There and back, they've got to go.
To get back 1,000 miles, and it takes quite a bit of effort to do that.
Thank you, because they've got to go there. Make the findings, and then bring that information back. It's impossible, man. Come on.
Wait, so are you saying it takes a very large amount of effort to bring information back from something you performed 500 miles away? No, they just have to carry it. That's what it's for.
True. That's what they're saying to us.
Right. So if they were to do this, which I'm guessing, I'm going to say guessing more because, right. So let's say they did it. They went there 500 miles, and why? First of all, why would they just do something and say we're going to do this, but we're actually not going to do it? We're going to just say this is the calculation you've come up with. They're not going to do that. They'd have absolutely no reason. And obviously, if they get found out, which if they did, they would have probably been found out because, it was Roman Empire, Greek stuff, and people were snitching all over the place.
They didn't do it, rocket ship. That's the point we're making here. They did not do the experiment.
How would you know if they didn't do it? You weren't there at the time.
I will tell you why. One, we cannot find the person, any record of the person involved. Any.
Aristophanes.
Hearsay.
Aristophanes. You're saying we don't know anything about Aristophanes.
No evidence of him being alive.
I beg to differ.
Well, go bring me it. Go bring me it. Please beg to differ and go bring me it, please. Please, go on. Go bring it, because you believe it. Go bring it. Are
you saying that we have no evidence Aristophanes was alive?
There's no evidence of him being mentioned anywhere. Anywhere in the back history. Only the name. Only the name and the so-called experiment. That's all we have. Nothing else about his life.
The first thing you do is say that the experiment isn't real, and then you went ahead and say that the guy that performed the experiments isn't real.
That's correct. That is the school of thought at the moment. That is the school of thought.
He wrote like a bunch of plays and everything. Listen, like the frogs, which had like Dionysus and Hercules and all that in them.
That is the school of thought at the moment, that he never lived. Because we can't find any evidence. No one of his peers spoke of him. Because that's an important experiment and an important find. Curvature.
Okay, I don't actually know how I can.
There we are. There we are. You're answering my question. You're explaining my case now.
No, I'm not. I'm just very confused because I don't know how you came to the conclusion that he didn't exist. Because, as you said that no one really talked about him back in the days.
Well, there you go.
No, really?
I'm telling you, really. No. Really. Remember this, yeah? Listen. I mentioned to you that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon, not once did they mention the word Earth. And you seem to think that's okay. That's normal. That's a normal thing to do.
Okay. Oh.
No. Please, just focus on what I said for a second, Rocket Ship, please. Focus on what I said. It's like I'm telling you.
I understand. I know what you're trying to get to, and I understand the point that you're making.
Don't say you know what I'm trying to get to. You know exactly what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. I know.
They are lying. You can't go 238,000 miles, 238,000 miles, all the way to a place, the biggest distance ever traveled by man, the most dangerous journey, cramped conditions, and then you get out, you have to put your suit on, you were eating food from a tube, so it's a mad experience, and you're not going to mention your home, where you've come from. Let me tell you something. If you can't get onto that, I feel sorry for you. Okay?
No, okay.
Right. That one situation alone proves.
No, it doesn't, Jen. Jesus, like, they're on the moon to do research on the moon, and they got to talk about Earth. And you're making a claim that Aristophanes didn't fucking exist. Where's your evidence?
Yes.
My evidence is from searching and not finding any.
Okay, well, maybe you're not that good of a researcher.
Any evidence that Aristophanes?
Well, okay, can you find me evidence that he lived?
Like you're yelling at a fucking kid.
I'm not kidding.
Okay, but I'm just going to ignore the entire talk about the moon for a second, because I'm still really confused as to why you thought Aristophanes could not exist. That is just absurd, really. Even other people
in my softest voice,
I disagree.
Look for him. Go look for him.
Go research right now. Let's go to Aristophanes' biography, plays and facts by Britannica.com. Aristophanes was born in 450 BCE. It was the greatest representative of ancient Greek and comedy, and he was one of the greatest comedians of all time. Representative of old comedy. He had a bunch of plays which he created. He little is known about the life of Aristophanes, and most of the known facts are derived from references in known plays. He was an Athenian citizen belonging to the clan Pandiones, and his actual birthplace is uncertain.
Yeah, that's what I mean, you see? That's what I mean.
Okay, are you saying that because there are a few gaps in his life, therefore he didn't exist at all? Are you just going to ignore all the evidence for him?
Yeah, because other famous scientists... Hang on, sorry.
No, he just didn't do this, and it wasn't recorded down. Therefore, everything else is a complete utter lie. Everything else.
Unfortunately, my stance on that would be yes. That's what it would be like, because we've been lied to so much.
Serious? We can't know every single detail about a person that lived in 450 BCE. We can't know everything.
I think we can, especially when his peers. No one else mentions him. No one famous mentioned this guy.
So if you like, this is. I'm not saying anything bad about you, but if nobody mentions you after you die, you won't have existed.
Well, if you don't mention me, how could I have existed if you don't look for me?
All right, that answers that question.
You got to look for me. You got to look for me.
Thank you very much.
You have to look for me, and then you might find me.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. It's true, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. But the experiment still seems to be rather more to the impossible side than the possible side. Okay? It goes towards the impossible side, that experiment.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he was just a really hardy dude. If something's really hard to do, it doesn't mean it hasn't been done.
Like I said, though, yeah, that's 1,000 miles. That's a lot of mileage there to walk to prove their experiment. How would they have done that? How could they confirm it? How could they confirm from those distances? How?
Jin, they had things like sundials. I don't know if they had gears back then, but they were able to keep track of time. So all they would have to do is hold on. They would take a measurement, write down where the sun's position was during the day, and then have somebody else do the same. Compare their notes, and there you are.
They put the sticks in the ground, yeah? And they confirmed the sun's position. How would they relay that message? I tell you, it's impossible.
They write it down.
Yes. They had writing in Greek.
Just because they didn't have walkie-talkies, they didn't have CB radios or cell phones, doesn't mean they weren't able to communicate and take logs. You remember the captain's log of a ship?
Yeah, Stardate 55.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Go on.
I'm talking about ships, Jin, not spaceships.
I know. I'm just joking. Come on.
Okay, I can't tell. You sound the same when you're joking.
I forgot. That's the whole point. Come on.
Maybe do your Mickey Mouse voice when you're joking.
Yeah,
I was just joking. Oh.
Okay.
I love you, man. It's just like that. We'll get through this. You'll realize what's a claim and what's okay to claim. Like, it's snowing right now. I'll go ahead and make that claim.
Right. Good. Carry on.
What snow is?
I
can't claim what it is.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the distance of the sun anyway, and how we can measure.
They didn't try to calculate the distance of the sun.
No, they were measuring curvature, discovering curvature.
Yeah, measuring the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah.
That was the point of that experiment.
But today, with today's modern technology, we can't find it. Oh, that's
no, it has
they say that they have. Think of dude.
They did actually measure the curvature of the Earth on YouTube, and you can find it. If I remember, it was called "How I Measured the Curvature of the Earth Using a Bike in 2.6," and he measured using the exact experiment that Aristophanes performed. He measured the curvature of the Earth, and he was like 18% off of the actual curvature.
I don't know of that experiment. Sorry, I would have to look at that one. But that's news to me.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. How I measured the curvature of the Earth using my bike in 2.6.
A bike? Oh, I've seen that one. Sorry, yeah. It does ring a bell. That was a convoluted one. That was nothing I could believe. I couldn't believe that. It wasn't acceptable. Totally unacceptable, that experiment.
Okay, what was unacceptable about it?
The fact that he was using a bike.
Really? The bike? The mode of transport? That was what was wrong? You expect him to walk 500 meters? I mean miles. I'm sorry, but a bike is a bit of a, a better idea.
Well, I'm going to have to relook that experiment again, but as I said, it was totally unacceptable for me.
You're doing an awesome job, by the way, Rocket Ship.
Thanks. But the bike, why is it the bike that's the problem? Are you like biker-phobic? What's wrong with
I'm not biker-phobic. I like that word. No, I'm not biker-phobic. I'm going to look at that experiment again.
Jin has several bikes.
Yeah. I'm a motorcyclist.
Maybe he could lend one to a friend and he could measure the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any curvature, but I'm not going to say that the bike.
See if you can find one.
Pardon me? What was that?
I said that maybe he could see if he can find one and see if there is or is not a curvature.
No, yeah, I've travelled a lot and I've climbed mountains all over. The horizon just looks totally level, the horizon.
That's because it's a long distance away, my friend.
No. It doesn't matter about.
No, I'm with the fact that you can see farther than you should be able to on a globe. But again, I'm just like I'm okay with whatever shape it is, and I honestly don't. If there is a shape, the flat Earth, just the name of it alone, it doesn't really make sense to me because we have to include the air and stuff.
Well,
that's part of Earth.
I'm talking about
like
the ground,
the Earth system,
the topography of it, just in general. When you look at it,
I have a question, Jin. When you climb to the top of the mountains that you've been to, when you climb to the top and it's very cold and snowy, can you tell me why that is? Oh, hello.
The altitude is colder. The air is cooler up there.
1 second.
The atmosphere is cooler up there. The atmosphere is cooler up there. That's why the air is cooler. The higher you go. That is why, isn't it?
Why is the air colder?
Well, there's no heat around at the time.
Well, you're getting closer to the sun, though, right?
Yeah, if the sun is not around, and let's say the sun is in the Tropic of Cancer, for example, I'm on Mount Fuji in the wintertime, where you're going to get snow, we're going to go snowboarding, etc. The sun may come round. It will provide heat. It will provide heat when it's there. You see what I mean? And then when it goes away, it's colder.
I have to go for a second because since it's Mother's Day, I have something to give to my mom.
Is it Mother's Day? Oh, shit. I got to call my mom.
Give me a second. Bye.
No problem, man. No problem, man. Thanks anyway.
Oh, shit. I'm so bad at this.
You want to put it on your... fix it on your mobile phone so it comes up every year. A reminder.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
So I remember mine and my family's birthdays, all of them.
You people, it's British Mother's Day.
That's correct. So all in England, all the mothers are happy now, I think.
I doubt that.
Yeah, he's a bright spark. He's definitely a bright spark. Rocket ship, no doubt about that.
So the reason that it's colder, at least from my understanding, the reason it's colder as you get up higher is because the air is thinner and there's less air to heat up.
Yeah, that makes sense. But when the sun comes round, you do feel the heat because I felt it.
Yeah, like I'm at about 7,500 feet, and it's snowing right now, and it's March 31st.
Wow.
It snowed here yesterday.
Cool, blimey. Your weather system's at sequence is out of sync, isn't it?
No, it
Is
snowed
that
in
normal
June.
weather?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure of that.
Yeah, I woke up yesterday morning and it was snowing. That was weird. Well, not really weird for Kansas, but
Yeah.
Kansas.
The Kansansians. So I'm doing a little father-son thing here in a little bit.
Cool. What time is this?
Are you going to be around or?
This is Mike.
Hey, Mike, Chris calling from TQL. How are you doing?
Doing well, thanks. How about yourself?
Hey, doing well, thank you. I was just calling. I wanted to see if y'all still had a driver out in Chesterfield, New Hampshire for tomorrow morning.
I do.
Okay. Because I've got a load out of Saratoga Springs, New York, going down to Mount Holly, New Jersey. It is a dry load. But wanted to see if it's something you might be interested in.
Yeah, give me a sec here.
Yeah, take your time. Give you some codes too if you need them.
Yeah, what time is that pickup?
Two different ones. One is at 7:30 in the morning with a 2:30 afternoon delivery, and the other one's at 8:30 in the morning with a 3:30 afternoon delivery.
I think probably 8:30 would be better. We got a 4:30 a.m. appointment at UNFI in Chesterfield. Let's see. Chesterfield.
I'm sure about 67 miles from Chesterfield.
I've got 92. Is it picking up in Saratoga Springs proper? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Where is everybody? I wonder. Oh, April Fools. Join the call.
Oh, has everybody departed? Yeah, Artie, I thought I was in trouble for a minute. Yeah, nobody was talking there for a minute. Yeah, Orb's Realm. I think he used to go by a different handle. I keep forgetting.
I'm back with low volume. There we go. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
So what did I miss when I just left? What happened?
I believe it was Jin's concession. You finally did it. He's a Glober again now.
I did it. I convinced him.
Great success.
Yeah. I don't know. Did he like rage quit?
No, I think he just got silent and he bounced.
Maybe he needs to learn a bit more Narasophanes.
Yeah, maybe. I think that was a good little matchup. I didn't like that he was yelling at you, given your age, but
oh, I can deal with people yelling at me. Don't worry. It's just he said what is by far the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Just Aristophanes could not have existed. Oh,
because nobody mentioned him, but somehow there's a record of him existing. And I'm not saying that means he did exist.
Yeah, there's no record. Yeah. He didn't get mentioned, but we have records of him. But
yeah, and I can't like prove he existed, but I'm not like really in doubt of it.
But yeah, that was just really, really stupid. But it was enjoyable at the same time. I liked the little rants back and forth. My family was in the other room looking at me through the glass door, which was next to me. And they just kind of looked at me just with this, oh God, who are you speaking to? My dad was like, I can hear you. Oh, it was great. But yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I just don't think it's a good place to start if you're interested. Look into what I was talking about. I'll send you a link.
I have the full-on list here of everything that is what I should be looking into and everything.
Yeah, and I'm not the type that's really going to refer many YouTube videos, but this one it's really good. It is about 4 hours long, so you might want to do it when you've got a little bit of time. But here in the YouTube chat, I've put a link, and that is to the documentary called The Money Masters by Bill Still.
Yeah, okay.
And it's extremely in-depth. Like I said, he's also got several books that you could find on Amazon. And that just gets you into like the history of money and the history of private central banking.
Oh, Jesus, 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check that out later on when I actually have time.
And it says that it's about the private central banking control over the United States, but he does discuss the Waterloo incident with the Rothschild and the Bank of England as well. So really good stuff.
Yeah. I'll watch that. Probably in separate parts. Like 20 minutes every day. I'll finish it next year sometime.
Yeah.
You'll catch me like old with a wispy beard, just like, I did it! I finally got there! I don't know about Lost Child.
Sorry, I'm working. It's like,
yeah, sure, go ahead. Work your way.
Here we go. Quad graphics. Quad graphics.
Thanks for the heads up, Rob Vanderclock, who says they can mess my head up with banking stuff, then flat smack you when you're weak and vulnerable. Oh, don't worry, I'll be fine.
No, like, that's not what I'm trying to do. And again, like, if anything, the only conclusion that I'd draw from these types of things, you know, is also the government false flags and stuff like that. It just shows you like what they're capable of, and it makes you a little bit more open to talking about that stuff. I don't know. I think Rob's a little butthurt or something. He's a little bit more on the offensive for the past couple of days. But yeah, I'm not trying to fucking brainwash you. In fact, I'm like intentionally being a little bit more gentle because your mind is still being shaped, right?
I'm still evolving. Yeah, I have a lot of things to get through. It's just it just depends on like the sources that I'm getting it from. I don't want to end up like learning things that aren't actually true and then getting swayed off into the wrong track. Which is why I'm very careful about the sort of stuff that I learn about. Which obviously really you probably wouldn't believe, considering the fact I'm all into the globe and you're like, oh, you be careful about what you learn about, yet you're into the globe.
No, like I said, it's a lot to digest, and it's just one of those. It seems so off the wall. I think that's why it's so entertaining for a lot of people that still find themselves on a globe. And you know, that's why I say it's just really not a good place to start. And even if you know, we are on a globe, I still think that things like private central banking, fiat currencies, like financial slavery, is it's really important to know about, because that stuff's 100% true and admitted. So a couple other things, and it's tough because it's not from where you are, so it may seem like it's so far away from home that it wouldn't apply. But MK Ultra, Operation Mockingbird, the like Manhattan Project, Operation Paperclip. There's a lot that just it's almost like we don't even have to talk about the shape of the Earth, and we'll really get somewhere, and you'll end up being a little bit more free mentally at the end of the conversation, or at least at the end of your research.
Yeah, I think the best thing that people can be doing is focusing. I mean, obviously, this is a bit hypocritical of me saying this, but a really good thing that people should be doing is focusing on things that actually matter and affect you and other people. But the reason why I'm like talking to you guys with all the flat Earth, although it may not seem very serious, I think that if it grows to a point where it's like spills over and it can't really be controlled or stopped, I think it can cause a few bad impacts, because there are some bad people in the flat Earth society, along with good people, of course, people like you who actually are open to other things and the way that other people speak and everything. But there are, of course, are people out there that are really negative, and I really don't want them type of people to end up influencing other people, because it can just start this vicious cycle or this road that I really don't want people going down, which is why I'm here, trying to make people realize that the things that they not know, but the things that they believe that are actually really wrong. The reason why I don't go out there and say, you're an idiot and everything you believe is a complete stupid, hypocritical, weird thing, and I see absolutely no point in that. I'd rather just point out where people get things wrong, or where I can input my voice so that people are more open and a lot less locked up in their own little mind, where they think that everything they know is absolutely true. I think a bit of skepticism is good every now and then, but people tend to just ignore that because they're afraid of being wrong. And fear is very, very harsh.
Yeah, agreed. And I don't think it's dangerous. If the flat Earth is wrong, and it is on a lot of counts, and there's a lot of false information, or people drawing conclusions early, non sequiturs, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I think the worst case is that the globe model, it's just going to have to work a little harder to make sure people know how you guys came up with that conclusion. It's because it's like ships over the horizon, for example. It's not a good proof, and that's like one of the first things that you find when you look up, like, how do we know the Earth is a ball? Sunsets, ships over the horizon.
Yeah.
And then we've got so many other things with the flat Earth, where it's in this, it's not a bad conclusion to draw. Like, I'm not moving because I don't feel like I'm moving. It seems actually pretty reasonable, but when you start to introduce other experiments and stuff like that, you're gonna have to step up your game and say, okay, well, I've done an experiment, like even if it's just placing a cup of fucking water on a table and saying, okay, well, it's not staying to one side with inertia. It's like, do something. I don't know. There's just a lot of conjecture and a lot of speculation on both sides, and I think that you are doing a lot better than most.
Yeah. Some things that I really find annoying is when people in the Flat Earth Society try and disprove or prove things that they don't fully understand themselves. You get instances where it's like, if you get this water and this cup of water and put it on a table, look, it's not bending, the Earth is flat. That's like, no, because if you actually knew how gravity works and how all this sort of stuff that you say definitely doesn't exist,
well,
if you actually knew how it all
to be fair, you don't know how gravity works, because this is like let's use like the Nathan Oakley pressure gradient type deal. And the argument against that is that it's gravity, the force that's acting upon the gas that's creating the pressure. That's all well and good as a theory, as long as it's said that it's a theory. But I'm sure that you're aware that there's been no experiment showing a gravity created in a lab, like a gravitational field created in a lab.
If you want to create a gravitational field in a lab, you're going to need a lot of mass. And
I'm aware of that.
A lot of mass.
That's difficult. That's very convenient, right? Yeah. I'll have to agree with Jared. It's extremely convenient. You know, hey, sorry, you know, you're just gonna have to take our word for it. We can't prove it. No, there's no experiment that we can use to show that this is true. But we're smart, so trust us.
What Einstein said was how gravity works is that when you get mass in space, the mass takes up the space, and the space is always trying to get back to that space that was just taken up by the mass, but it can't because the mass is in the way. And so
I know, man, but like,
mass, and that pulls objects around it towards it. The more mass there is, the more force pushing on it. That was how gravity was explained by Einstein.
But that makes almost like less sense than the Newtonian gravity, you know, because it's like a bending, warping of space-time. But if space is just space, if it's nothing, how can you bend it? Can you bend nothing? Can you bend time? Time's an abstract concept.
Well, I can't remember. It was either today or last night when I heard that there was a relationship between Tesla's theory of gravity and Einstein's theory of gravity, but I don't think I watched it through to like
have you ever heard of Fulcrum?
They both work in conjunction with one another, but I remember hearing that they do actually work together, but I didn't actually see how.
Have you ever heard of Fulcrum?
Fulcrum.
Do you mean Foucault?
Foucault, yeah. Sorry.
No, I haven't.
Okay. He's talking about the Foucault pendulum.
Oh, the Foucault pendulum.
That's about Coriolis and not gravity. But go ahead, Jared.
No. It's Newton's equation matches almost identical to the. I thought it was him. Maybe I'm wrong. You're saying it's not his law or the two equations. Where's Josh at when you need him? Damn it. There's two equations, and one of them is law of dealing with electromagnetism, and the other is the theory of gravity. And you put these two equations side by side, and they're damn near identical. Damn it. But it's not Fulcrum. It's not okay.
How do you spell it? The Fulcrum or Fulcott or whatever you said.
It might not be him then.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I guess I can leave that.
Well, anyway, my point about gravity is you're talking about a dude, right? An Einstein. You know,
Einstein, yeah.
They throw that name out, and it's automatically got, pull to it. Why? Because it's Einstein. Like, how do we even know that this guy was who he says he was?
Who are you talking about?
Einstein.
Okay, now, can you elaborate on that?
Okay, so you're talking about the bendy space or whatever, Einstein's theory, right?
Yeah.
That's what you guys were just talking about. Okay, so Einstein comes up with the theory, and what proof was there that his theory was even close to correct?
I think there was a lot of calculations and math being put into it.
That was kind of what my point was,
given.
Like space being nothing and time being an abstract concept. Like, shout out to Crazy Gibbon in the chat. Just because we can't easily understand something doesn't mean it's less credible. And I'm not saying it's not credible. I'm saying that you haven't proven it. You can't create a gas pressure using gravity in a lab. Sorry if it's too hard for you because you'd need a lot of mass. Sorry about that. But it still doesn't change the fact that Einsteinian gravity, being the bending of space-time, is basically bending an abstract concept, an idea, as well as bending nothing. And I think that's why we have to have these things like dark energy and dark matter inserted into the equation, because otherwise it falls apart.
Do you know about the Big Bang Theory?
I have to go now. I'm sorry.
Are you rage quitting? I'm just playing. No, cheers. Thanks for coming on, man.
Sorry.
Hey,
yeah,
thanks
cheers,
for coming
brother.
on, man. Yeah, do some of that research, man. We're gonna give you some homework. Oh, fuck. Expect you to have the test done when you get back, sir. Jeez. What the fuck was I on that one, dipshit? Fuck.
Maybe get Skyfly Bry on. Maybe he can help us understand how you could bend nothing. Let's see. I'll add him.
Well, Einstein says, fuck Einstein.
Yeah, there, Brian. I just added you to the call if you want to come explain to me how one can bend nothing. This is a discussion that would be a lot easier for scientists who've studied the subject for years. Oh, so that's called an appeal to authority. Like, you're not smart enough, I'm not smart enough to understand how you could bend nothing.
Well, then I can just make up whatever the hell I want, and if you don't understand it, then that means you're an idiot.
No, I wouldn't call the person an idiot. I just think that they don't believe in their own intelligence enough to think that maybe they could, think for themselves and not have other people do it for them. Which is kind of how we're taught from a very young age.
Give up our authority to the uppers. They have our best interests at heart. You know that, right?
That's what they say. And at Orbs Rome, I believe that's a British person that I spoke to several times over the years. Used to go by the name Discoverer. And, I don't think the ether's quite been proven either, but I certainly wouldn't write it out. So, okay.
Why wouldn't Ares' failure be proof of ether?
I think it wouldn't be proof of ether. I think that was the. Or wait, maybe I'm thinking of Nicholas Morris.
Try to help me to understand though, because
I'm not all that familiar with undertaking some method to drag that would stellar operational light suitable start. Okay, so this was the water-filled telescope experiment, correct. I believe.
Yes, sir.
And again, they were trying to observe the...
Trying to prove that the Earth was moving.
Right. Oh, Rory McFizz, okay.
Why the fuck did I think that was...
sorry, Crazy Gibbon, if you'd like to hop on, be more than happy to discuss this with you. But as far as not being able to discuss a subject because I haven't studied it for years, which I have, is there like a specific number of years that I have to study it for in order to be able to discuss it? Or do I have to do it at university?
Wait a second. In order to go to university, I have to have money. Since when do I have to be rich to have knowledge? Kind of fucked up.
Oh, you're saying, okay, you're not saying I'm unable to discuss it, just that it would be easier to understand if I had been researching it for years. Well, I have for about 3 years now. And, I don't know if I can, if going to school or studying it for more than 3 years will help me understand better a way that you could bend nothing. Because that's what I'm trying to discuss. Because it seems pretty cut and dry. You can't create a gas pressure in a lab with gravity. And nothing being nothing, it seems like you wouldn't be able to bend it or flex it or break it because it's nothing.
Is it Maxwell? It's not Maxwell.
But cheers for being out there in the chat, and appreciate your input there. If you anything else, yeah, I'd be happy to address it. If I,
Faraday. That's who it is. It's Faraday. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just looking. It's Faraday's law is what I was trying to think of. Damn it.
Faraday's law. What's that? I know about Farads and Faraday cages, and he was involved in electromagnetism.
Yeah. There's 4 laws of electromagnetism. I need to. I want to. Okay, so Maxwell's equations. It might be Maxwell.
Here, I gotta make a call, but yeah. Cheers. Good show, Jared. There was no talk about smoking fucking crack or doing heroin, which is awesome. And
yeah, that doesn't really happen much.
I'll be back around.
Cheers. Okay. Be good.
Peace out, Hitch.
There you are, dude. I'm dying over here. Is it Faraday or is it Maxwell's law that's the close to Newton's gravity law equation?
You're not even close. It's Coulomb's law.
Coulomb's? God, what the hell am I looking at here? What's going on, dude? That wasn't even close.
Faraday's law deals with like the Faraday cage and how like energy and electricity, I think, is like spread out.
Well, I know that their theories collide, right? Because it's something about a constant speed of light that Maxwell proposes as opposed to an actual speed that Newton says there is or whatever. Fucking Faraday. It's probably because it's Faraday's law of electromagnetism that probably threw me off. Because what's Coulomb's law referring to then?
Coulomb's law is electromagnetics.
So it's kind of the same thing. I wasn't way off, but name-wise I was.
Yeah, no, you were way off with the name, dude.
With the name, yes. Not even close. Well, the first one I guessed was Fulcum.
Fulcum's law.
So it's kind of close. Fulcum was my first guess.
Sounds like that's like a mix between like Foucault's pendulum and somebody else.
Yes. Oh man, a lot of these names, dude, drive me insane. Okay.
All right, I got to get out and get on the road in a few minutes, which means I'll be mobile, which is cool. Although,
I'm about to
for me to be able to record my conversations with the person in my car, I can't have Hangouts running, so it kind of sucks.
Well, I got to go do something with my son, but I gave you controls too on this if you want to keep her going for, whatever.
No, dude, go ahead and end it. I gotta finish up like my laundry and shit before I take off anyway. I gotta go swap washer, dryer out, that kind of shit. That old song and dance.
Yep. Okay. Coulomb's law defines force between charges, whereas Newton's law of gravitation defines force between masses. Both are inverse square laws.
And what does an inverse square law mean? It means that the closer it gets, the harder it pulls. Which means terminal velocity, where they say that you go so fast and can't go any faster. Terminal velocity debunks gravity.
Right.
Because you should never stop accelerating by gravity's own definition.
And light having an actual speed limit or speed, right? Tears down gravity as well, doesn't it?
I'm not sure about light having its own speed tearing down gravity, but I do know that they try to say that it's connected.
Forces are inversely proportional to the square of the distances between charges. Cases of Coulomb's law. So between like a positive and negative charge, right? That would be, which is provable. And what it sounds like to me, and tell me if I'm way off on this, but things like yoga and stretching and like how our bodies are kind of wiry, doesn't that go way better with like how Coulomb's law works than Newton's law also?
You mean the fact that we're electrical beings? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're able to move as freely as we do, or as freely as we make it seem it is.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I think it comes down to like what you're saying right now, electromagnetism, and I think it comes down to potential and kinetic energy. I mean, because, hey, it's Bob the Science Guy. What's up, Bob? Yeah, gravity, Bob. Your guys' go-to to solve everything.
What does he think of Mr. Coulomb from Coulomb's law?
I don't know. I haven't talked to Bob about Coulomb's law yet.
It's Coulomb's. That's how you pronounce it, Coulomb's. Coulom.
I'm probably butchering it, dude. Don't listen to me.
No, it sounds, because it's spelled weird. It's Coulombs.
Yeah, it's Coulomb's.
Coulomb's. Dude, all these searches that I put on Coulomb's law, like 2015 is like when it starts popping up. A little interesting, right?
When searches for Coulomb, like when articles are starting to be talked about and stuff like that.
Yeah.
2015. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Nothing before that.
Well, that means we're going to have to run it through archive.org. And we're going to have to check out where it pops up before, because like that's a good way to find things before, like way, way, way back. Yeah, hey, psychics, you missed it. Rocket Ship was on the panel for a while. And it's funny because the only debate part he thinks he was in was with Jin. Yet he was bouncing questions off of, like, all of us were bouncing questions and things for him to think about off of him, man. he did a hell of a job. Actually, he gained a whole lot of respect for me. Just with the way he handled himself. I liked that when I brought something up to him, he tried to make sure that he wasn't giving false information and he looked it up himself. That's fucking awesome, dude.
I really hope that was genuine. I really do. I don't know though, man. It's hard.
If it wasn't, he's one hell of a troll.
Yeah.
Like, if he isn't, if that wasn't genuine, then he's got my respect on another level with being a fucking badass troll, right? Like, I can respect a good troll, especially if they're clean, you know? Like, if they don't throw any dirty punches and they just are dogmatic with what they think they know, I can deal with that. Right? Like we've kept saying all along, bro. Just don't be an asshole, right? Like, we don't care what you believe in, dude. It doesn't matter. Just don't be an asshole. But at the same time, Jared, sometimes we have to watch each other because we can get cocky and we can get condescending and we can get just as bad as they are, you know? Rocket ship says, I'm sending the CIA your way right now. Wouldn't it be like MI6? That's weird. The bar shows just me in the call. That's funny. Oh, Rocket. I know you're just kidding, man. We don't take a whole lot too seriously around here. You still there, Jared? Oh. Jared, come back. Because this is going to end in like a couple of minutes. You dropped off. Dude, do you want me to start up a stream? Well, in case anybody wants to know, it's a good thing I'm in the call. If I leave the call right now, anybody can pop in. No, actually, psychics. Rocket was way chiller than Jim Panda, dude. Jeremy's got nothing on Rocket. Yeah, dude, Jim has anger issues. Like, Rocket sounds young. I would say he's anywhere from 17 to 19. Oh, there you go again, Jared. There you are.
It's probably a theory still.
It's a good thing you popped back in. You only have like 5 minutes to do so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you hear anything I said there?
No.
Have you heard of dynamical system? Dynamical systems?
Aha, I was close, Rocket. It said 17. I gave you the benefit of the doubt saying up until 19. But I had 17 pretty much stuck in my head. I was just being nice. Because you sound like a kid.
Dynamical systems theory.
No, dynamic systems, dude. Not dynamical. I don't think dynamical.
Dynamical systems theory. That's what it says right here. Dynamical systems theory is an area of mathematics used to describe the behavior of the complex dynamical systems. Yeah, dynamical. It's a weird word, right?
Yeah.
And when I don't know about you, but when I hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm going to make a generalization," it's an educated guess, right? Is what that means to me, anyway.
Dynamic systems theory. And then right here on the right, yeah, it says dynamical systems theory.
Yeah, I never heard of that before. That's what got me on that thread. Oh boy. Okay, so I will end this broadcast day. Appreciate you hanging out with me, man. Appreciate all you guys here. And
I was looking up dynamical systems right now.
Oh, cool.
This shit. It's like, I mean, it pops up with like scholarly articles for dynamic systems theory. A dynamic systems theory approach to, what is this? Second language acquisition? What the fuck?
Basic mechanics or something, normalized mechanics, or they use the word generalization of the well, what I get out of it is basically an educated guess is made, and they're able to like have leeway when it comes to making like a mistake here and there, right? That's what I get out of what it basically is doing. It's like a way to have an educated guess as passed off as fact.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I got out of it.
Yeah. That's kind of sad, isn't it?
Well, it's what we've known this whole time, really. It's educated guess is basically what their reality is based on. It's an educated guess. And that's all it is. It's nothing that is because it even says that gravity is not a, what is it? They're described as a force, right? A force theory or force. Damn. The two differences, the difference between one of the main differences between the two, Coulomb's and Newton's gravity equation are.
Here, hold on a second. Let's see if we can get. Hey, Skyfly dropped in for a minute. Jared.
What's that?
Did Brian drop in and say what's up to you for a minute?
No.
Oh, what the hell? That's weird. I don't like when that happens.
Force law. Okay, Coulomb's law is a force law. Newton's law, first law, is it's a consequence of his second law. That's where I got stuck. Okay. These three laws are not for the. Okay, they're what is called. That's where I got the word. Look at. Okay, so Newton's three laws are not force laws at all. They are what is called a dynamical principle. That's where I looked up why I looked up that word. A way of taking force laws and turn them into kinematic equations. Kinematic equations.
Mm-hmm. Wait, spell that again.
And this makes sense. Now, like reading through, like between the lines. Okay, they are what is called a dynamical principle, right? I looked that up. Dynamical principle, basically educated guess. A way of taking force laws and then turning them into kinematic equations. Kinematic.
How do you spell it?
Kinematic. Equations. And it says that these can be solved for predictions of trajectories, energies, and much more. And much more. Like the force laws themselves are all connected to interactions between particles that appear in Newtonian dynamics. And appear is like in squiggly. Whatever.
Okay, so check this out. A kinematic equation is the equations can be utilized for any motion that can be described as being either a constant velocity motion, an acceleration of 0 meters per second, or a constant acceleration motion. They can never be used over any time period during which the acceleration is changing. Each of the kinematic equations include 4 variables. Okay, so.
Okay. Go ahead.
That can be described as either a constant velocity motion. So they need to show me an example of this.
Well,
or this even exists so that this equation has any bearing on my real life before I need to apply it to what's in the sky above me.
it's the law, the three laws. They want to turn the dynamical, weird word, dynamical principle, which is basically a way of taking bullshit and using kinematic equations, which I don't know, it sounded like those are equations that deal with constants, right?
Yeah.
So they're turning a law that Newton made up, a dynamical principle, and turning that into a way of taking force laws and turning them into kinematic equations that can be solved for predictions. And predictions is in parentheses. Predictions of what? Predictions of, what the Earth's weight is going to be. I don't know. Trajectories, energies, and much more. Gotta love that. What's up, man?
My mom to call.
Physical laws are merely named relations that we. The word law in physics does not represent a set of similar things. Physical laws are merely named relations that we have found to be true enough to have practical value. Newton's laws turned out to be incorrect, although they work very well at certain mass space timescales. Coulomb's law per se also turns out to be incorrect, as it neglects finite velocity of field propagation and is also a classical force law, where force itself stops being a particularly useful concept at the microscopic scale.
It's funny that they bring up Coulomb's law. Right?
Coulomb's law
is also failing.
Also incorrect. Well, it's funny that they say it's incorrect, but the reason behind it's being incorrect is because it neglects finite velocity. Why would something need to be finite in velocity? That sounds like
it neglects it neglects
finite velocity of field propagation.
It neglects terminal velocity. Dude,
Yeah.
like I told you.
Right? Finite velocity.
Dude, send me the link to that, please. That's hilarious.
Yep.
That is so funny because that's exactly what I just said, isn't it?
Yes.
That's fucking hilarious, dude.
Oh, man. And this is what really just gets me going. Coulomb's law, in the form of Gauss's law, does a better job of surviving the transition between 19th century Newtonian physics and the 20th century relativistic quantum physics. Relativistic.
It's all relative, remember? That's what Einstein figured out. It's all relative to where you're at. Which actually holds a lot of truth even on our side. That's why the star trails look different. It's all relative to where you're at. On the plane, not flying through space though, you know? Like, let's keep it on the ground here. Like, dude, when we see all those weird paintings and hieroglyphs and like statues and like carvings and stuff of where it looks like space and the planets and stuff like that, right? What if that was like the ancient NASA, dude? That's all I'm saying. People have been crooked forever. They've been telling lies about what's up there forever. Like, Jared, did you send me that link to whatever the hell you were reading right now? Dude, I think I might know the problem.